And welcome back for episode 12. If you do not know, that is the same number as the lunar phases. That is the same number as my basketball number in elementary school. And that is also the same as my Krispy Kreme order. So welcome back to the Backroad Banter podcast. I get 12 donuts.
Oh, you meant a dozen donuts. I was like, you know the fucking menu? That's nuts. Yeah. It's also, I think Tom Brady wore it. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of him. Terry Bradshaw wore it too. So,
okay, he's somewhat worth mentioning right now. So Tom Brady, you know what? You're not shitting on the Steelers. So yeah, good for you, Tom Brady. Everybody, just go back and think that I said that into it as well.
John Morant. I think Darius Garland's dad.
I don't even know who that is.
Winston Garland. Yeah, I only know that. Yeah. I only know that from 2K. He's on 2K.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I did not know I didn't know Darius's father was even in the NBA.
Yep.
So cool. Who did he play for?
I couldn't tell you. I know that every time I do a 2K franchise, he plays for me. But I don't know who he actually played for. Probably a bunch of people. I guess I could check that out right now.
Oh, okay. Cool.
He right now is 60 years old. See, he played for the Warriors, Clippers, Nuggets, Rockets. I don't know what or where that is. Some team in Italy. And then he came back to the NBA and finished his career with the Timberwolves in 1995.
Well, hell yeah. Well, congratulations to you. But more importantly, we are on episode 12. So, heck yeah, man. A dozen done. That is cool.
Yeah, that's nuts. I almost didn't remember what number it was.
Yeah, if I didn't make the graphics, I probably wouldn't know specifically, but
Oh yeah, because you make the graphics. Yeah, I do the actual like the clips, and nobody, there no numbers are ever on them. I don't think.
Yeah.
So I definitely lose track of those. I just do the clips and then the outro. Yeah, well, that's a little behind the scenes, behind the curtain of who does what here.
Who's doing what? Yeah. Well, alrighty, man. Well, let's just get into it so we can get into it and celebrate this St. Patrick's Day, this Patrick of the Saints of the Ireland of the world.
By the time this comes out, it's gonna be a little bit late, so people are gonna be like, "What the fuck do you mean?" But we're not.
It's our
that
celebration.
Late. Yeah, it's our celebration right now. Steve's still on the wall.
I was going to comment. I appreciate Steve still making the time to be here with us. I know he's probably really busy on these during these evening times, but thank you for being here, Steve.
Yeah, and I got my beads. I got my green beads to match Steve. I got my green can of Pringles.
Ah, well, you're extra green today. Well, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Did you partake in any greenery today?
No, not exactly.
Really? Oh, yeah. I mowed some grass there before I got done with this. So.
Oh, did you?
I definitely did. Yeah, cut the grass, got it real low, looks real clean. Doing the work, doing the Lord's work, really.
That's right. Yeah, that is what he did.
Yeah. Oh shoot. Well, anyways,
and his son was a carpenter.
That's what happens. You know what? That's why God never put the emphasis on college. You don't hear the word college in the Bible one time. You don't hear that until we get into it. So
yeah, and then if you look hard enough and you rearrange some letters, you will find the word lawnmower in it about 47 times.
Maybe even more if you try hard enough.
Yeah, and if you're not seeing it, then you're not trying hard enough. That's just how it is.
That's just how it goes, man. Yeah, but you know what? Why are we talking about the history of freaking St. Patrick's Day right now? We'll get into that later. They don't need to know all this. We'll tell them about how to be saved and how to celebrate properly here in a little bit.
That's right, yeah.
How was this last week, man? Tell me that just so we can we'll do our normal thing.
It was good. It was good. It didn't go necessarily according to plan, but ended up... Friday, we decided that we were going to take a trip out of town. So me and Jocelyn took a trip out of town, and you saw us, actually. You saw us in person for the first time since probably Christmas.
I think so. I think it was Christmas, New Year's time.
I've been in since then, but once. I haven't been in since I went to Indy, and I haven't been in since I moved in here. Yeah, that's what I told Jocelyn on the way home. I was like, it's really weird to be going, like, home.
Like, from a different route.
Yeah, like it's kind of the same route. It's just a little further. It's like 15. It's like 15 minutes further. But it was weird to be going like like back here. Like it was weird to be going back to my home. I was like, man, it's so odd not like dreading going home. Like I don't want to go back to work, but it's neither here nor there.
It's different. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like it used to be like, wow, I don't want to go back to my house. Like I want to stay here. I don't want to go back to my actual house that I live in. And now I don't care. It's like, oh shit, okay, I get to go home where my stuff is, and I get to relax.
Yeah. When you can control the environment a lot more, or fully, and then especially dictate the type of energy that's being brought into the home, I definitely see how that just makes it a little more eager to get home.
Yeah, it's definitely nice not hating where you're going, man, hating where you live and shit. It sucks. It gets tiring. Yeah. But yeah, that was really all I did. Is I just took a trip down, saw the folks, saw the cats, and that was about it. Yeah, just nothing too eventful, but it was fulfilling. It's been a while. I haven't got to make my trips as frequently as I like to because spend all that money moving, So I just been really staying here. But it's been nice to it was nice to get out of the house and get out of town and go to some peace and quiet for a couple days.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's awesome. That's good. How did your mom like having you guys home?
Yeah, I think so.
Good.
I mean, I always think so. She never,
She's not going to tell you, fuck, I wish you'd get out of my house.
Why'd
you show up? Yeah.
Yeah, she's not going to tell me if she doesn't want me there, but I'm sure she was happy to see me. I think she just likes having the company.
Yeah.
She likes, I think she likes having, like, a girl there because whenever it's just me, it's just like me and then you and Celie come over and we're just like sitting there drinking, watching people knock each other the fuck out.
It is in no way toxic masculinity, but there's a lot of testosterone filled in that living.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like whenever we're there, I could definitely understand if like any woman on earth were to walk in and be like, "I'm leaving." I'd be like, "I get it." I would too.
Yeah. Now that it's getting warmer, I plan to start taking Layla over there just randomly, just because in the evening time we have nothing to do, especially around here, that. So we get off at the same time, ironically. But yeah, that's good. That's good to know. I love seeing your mom. As soon as I saw her, she just said, "Oh hey." She didn't mind me walking in or anything. She's just like, "Oh yeah, it's just."
Oh, I told her you were coming, but she told.
Okay, good.
She told me I was like, "Yeah, Justin's gonna be here in a minute, just so you don't think somebody's breaking into your house." She was like, "I wouldn't have thought that anyways. I just would have thought it was Justin."
It's your home. That's funny. That's funny.
She said, "I just would have thought it was one of your friends. If I didn't hear a car, I probably would have assumed Justin because you were just right across the street."
Yeah, I love that. That makes me feel so good. High five. Shout out, Michelle. I love you. Oh, well, heck yeah, that's awesome. I'm honestly, I'm kind of in the same boat. I did a lot this weekend, but didn't really do anything too eventful.
Anything too noteworthy? Yeah, me either, man.
No, I spent all day Saturday building electric fence. I guess I should, Eugene, so I should mention it to you, man. I was working for him, building his fence around one of his apple orchards, and just a very little bit into it, he just couldn't even stand on his foot to help drive in posts or anything, and he ended up he has an infection in his foot now.
Oh.
And it's to the point to where he's been in the hospital the last 3 days. Like when he said I couldn't handle putting pressure on it, and he asked me to go to the store with him so I could pick up some supplies for the fence. I fully understand. Like, he's never asked me to go for him before. I usually just keep working or whatever. And, oh my gosh, dude, I forget exactly what it is. I'm sure you would know, especially with your with your undergraduate degree. But I don't remember, so I don't want to name it wrong. But excruciating pain. So I want to shout out Eugene. If you ever listen to this, I'm thinking about you, buddy. I love you, dude, and hopefully you get better. Cowboys suck.
I couldn't picture Eugene listening to this. If he did, he turned it off right there. He was like, all right.
Yeah. This is not my type of podcast.
Yeah, I've had enough.
Oh, but yeah, other than that, there on Sunday I had my nephew's birthday party, little Wyatt, Kelsey and Scott's son, dino theme, so that was great.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that kid knows ball.
Well, I got him a lot of dino themed stuff. Of course, I had to pick him up a dino themed Funko Pop, so I hopefully start his collection. but then grabbed him some balls, just so, and then some sports balls, so that hopefully he understands the difference between the two. And but no, it was good. It was really good, man. Has me super excited for Layla's birthday. Bummed that now that you can't come because
yeah, dude, that sucks.
I've got so many games and so much shit planned, and like, I love my daughter. Nobody think that I don't. But dude, this party is like it's a kids party with adult games because there are chipping games. I have full on putting games. This putting game is set up like beer pong though, to where it's like 12, 15 feet long, something like that, and on each side it's sloped, and then there's however many holes, 10 holes or whatever, and there's slits that you fill in once you get it. So it's just a back and forth kind of challenge thing. So I'm excited about that. But I'm also I'm buying that for her party, but her party's the reason, but it gives me the ability to use it on vacations, just bring it over anytime anybody's in town and just play in general. So I'm excited about it. But the party made me excited, and other than that, I'm honestly looking forward to this weekend now that I know you're coming in. Hopefully, I'm gonna plan to golf there this weekend and chill in town at least a day, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I'm playing golf this weekend one way or another. So because I get paid Thursday, so that's why I was like, man, this like aside from missing the birthday party, this is a more ideal week for me anyway.
Well, if let me know the day and time, and we'll get that scheduled in. Text me, and I will stop by the golf course after work and get us a tee time, so we are guaranteed a spot, and they know to be there when we're there.
Yeah, we'll get a little. We might even get a little something extra filmed while we're out there too.
No, I definitely say we do a little segment outdoors, and we'll just fill it in because I got all that equipment, and I shouldn't have it for no reason. So,
yeah,
heck yeah, fuck yeah. Well, with that, let's get into some more St. Patrick's Day celebrations, everybody. I hope you take a drink of your liquid that you're drinking and get ready to enjoy the rest of this conversation because could be good, could be bad, probably going to be entertaining either way. So, let's get into it. Yeah. What do you got going on, man? Do you have anything in your notes you want to kick us off with? You want me to just do something random?
No, I do. I want to talk about we were on St. Patrick's Day. So I thought, you know what, I want to look up and see who was born on St. Patrick's Day. And there's no particular reason, just for shits and giggles. I've got a list of, I want to say 15. Yes, 15 people born on St. Patrick's Day. Some of these are pretty cool. Some are pretty interesting. I feel like we're just going to go through those. Some of them I don't know. Some of them are probably very famous people, and I don't know them. Like this guy. I've heard the name, but he was a fashion designer, so I'm not going to know who the hell he is. But Alexander McQueen, born on St. Patrick's Day in 1969.
Dude, it sounds familiar, but I'm going to be 100% honest. It's probably only because of Cars. McQueen. I'm going to be honest. That
yeah, because I thought I'd heard the name too. But I don't know. Maybe a song or something. I'm sure there's some song that might shout him out if he's a fashion designer. Who knows?
Yeah.
This one's pretty funny. 10 years later, St. Patrick's Day, 1979. Stormy Daniels.
Well, shout out you, Miss Daniels. Probably Miss. I doubt Mrs. Miss Daniels. You have given a lot of pleasure to the world. And, yeah, Stormy Daniels. Wow. How old?
1979. So
79. So my parents, so 40 years younger.
Yeah.
So 44 right now, about to be 45 or something.
Yep.
Dang.
Yeah, for anybody that doesn't know who she is.
She looks terrible.
I
thought she was close to Donald Trump's age. I'm not, like, no bullshit. I really thought that. Dang.
The next is jazz legend Nat King Cole, St. Patrick's Day. He was born in 1919. So he's before our time. I've heard the name, though. I've definitely heard the name, but he's before our time. Because we're not that old. This is a good one. This one, you're not a big music guy, so this didn't mean much
Nope.
to you. It meant something to me. Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins, the lead singer and guitarist. His birthday, March 17th, 1967 was when he was born. I thought that was cool as shit. So, happy birthday, Billy.
Yeah, keep on talking. I gotta look him up because I believe I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, you've definitely heard some Smashing Pumpkins songs before.
Oh, bro,
Yeah.
Not only do I know exactly who you're talking about in the songs, but I actually know exactly who you're talking about also because he is related to Bill Burr. He's Bill Burr's half brother. So.
I think that is right, yeah.
Yeah, he is, if nobody knows, Bill Burr's half brother. And he takes it like, oh, okay, that's understandable, no offense. And Bill Burr absolutely hates the fact, and I think that's hilarious.
Number 11, this is 15-1, like going down, I guess. So number 11 is, I don't know who this is. This is Vicki Lewis, a Broadway star, TV actor, and voice work artist. If she's a voice actor, everybody's probably heard her at some point, but don't even know. It doesn't list in the description what she did. I'd have to look that up on its own time. And there's 15 people here, so I'm not doing that. Number 10, Patrick fucking Duffy, man.
Patrick Duffy.
Patrick Duffy.
I don't know. Who is that? That sounds super familiar.
He's an actor. He's an old fella. I will look him up. Sorry to the other lady I wouldn't look up. I want to see what all he's done because I know exactly who he is. And,
well, while you look him up, I looked up Vicki Lewis, and you absolutely know who she is, and she's been in literally a bajillion things, but she's, for the things that I know, Mouse Hunt, 1997, Finding Nemo, Godzilla.
Who was she in Finding Nemo?
Tom and Jerry. She was, let me go over. Deb. Flo. She was Flo.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bro, she's been in a bajillion things. Just as... No, most of them are voice acting. But that's cool. Like Ben 10 Alien Force, Batman and Beyond, Dr. Dolittle, Wonder Woman. So a lot of stuff I've probably actually heard her in. So that's cool.
Yeah, Patrick Duffy's been in a million fucking things. So many to the point that I'm not even going to read them because they've been... I don't know most of them, to be honest with you. A lot of them are probably old. His more popular ones are probably old.
No,
probably our parents.
He is... Yeah, he is... I know him anyways because he was in an ABC show... was it Seventh Heaven that he was in, or was it... he was in... Trying to remember. Dallas? No, I've seen him in other things than Dallas.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I know who you're talking about.
He was in a television film called Texas where he played a character named Stephen Austin. That's goddamn funny.
That has to be done on purpose. That's...
The funny thing is that was in 1994. I don't know if you. I mean, you probably don't know, but I know that was before Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin was 96.
That was before. Wow. Okay,
Yep.
maybe he secretly gave him that.
Maybe Stone Cold did that on purpose.
You might be right. Like,
oh shit, he was in Alice in Wonderland.
I started thinking about that.
Alice in Wonderland. That's another one. Charlie's Angels. Okay, yeah, his older stuff is the stuff that would be the most popular stuff.
We would know. Yeah.
I looked newer for whatever reason, but. Yeah. Back to your
list, man.
The list is pretty good. The list is solid so far. I don't know who this is. I don't know for sure or not. But I might end up getting a dirty look from across the room because I said I don't know who this is. Grimes? Nope.
Oh, I know.
I don't know who that is. I don't think.
Canadian. Is it Grimes?
It's
Duffy.
It's just Grimes. It's Canadian music producer and electronic singer Grimes. It's some lady. I'm gonna find out about this lady when I'm done.
Yes. I'll keep looking. Next. You keep talking.
Hosier? Let's see. Take Me to Church, crooner Hosier came into the world on St. Patrick's Day, 1990. These descriptions suck. Whoever at People Whoever over at People wrote this article, you're lazy. You could have, like, give us some more background. If you don't already know who these people are, you don't know who they are. Grammy-nominated singer and reality star with her famous family was also born with the luck of the Irish. I'm reading the captions first. This is Tamar Braxton. And I feel like I know.
Braxton.
I feel like I know who all these people are, but why does it say she has a famous family? Who's her family? I probably know her family. I probably don't know her. That's what it's going to be. Oh, nope, I don't know her family. These motherfuckers. But let's see what she did. I don't know. She's probably on something my mom likes to watch. She's probably on a bunch of fucking Tubi movies. Well, she plays herself in most stuff. I don't know how that's acting. But yeah, she plays herself in almost everything. I don't know who the fuck this lady is. But she's more famous than I am. All right, here we go. Gary, I don't know how, I'm going to butcher his name, but I know who he is. Gary Sinise? He's on Forrest Gump.
Oh, yeah, I know who he is. Yep. He's old Captain whatever his name is. Yeah.
Fucking,
That's funny.
Yeah, why can't I think of his name either? Oh, he's Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan.
Fuck.
Lieutenant
I don't.
Dan.
How did
yeah.
I don't know how I couldn't think of.
I
Lieutenant
said
Dan.
Captain because I just
Captain,
think of the boat automatically. Yeah, dumbass.
Yeah, he is Lieutenant Dan. I knew who that guy was when I saw his picture. I was like, oh. Our next one. You know who this is. I know who this is. Most people who have watched a movie knows who this is. It's Kurt Russell.
Really?
Yeah. Kurt Russell.
I actually just watched a movie with him. Oh, it was the one with Ryan Reynolds where they're the police of the afterlife. R.I.P.D. I rewatched R.I.P.D. That was a good movie.
Was there a second one? Because I didn't know.
There is a second one.
Because I thought the first one was two totally different people, right? Or am I crazy?
No. I'm pretty sure that maybe there's not a second. No, there is a second one. The second one's two totally different people because it has people from different time periods. And the second one, the first one's more comedic. The second one's a better movie.
Oh, okay.
The second one's a far better movie.
He did a lot of shit, man.
Yeah.
What a resume.
Yeah. Cool.
His son is also doing some shit, too. His son is a Marvel actor.
Good for him.
Yep, he's got my name. We got
so
the same first name.
So many Marvel actors that means something, but it doesn't.
Not anymore, it doesn't.
Yeah. It's a shame.
Coco Austin, model and reality star Coco Austin, who has been married to Ice-T since 2002.
Okay. Well,
yeah. I know who Ice-T is.
I don't know her, but...
Rob Kardashian, number 3 on the list. We're getting up there.
That guy, it's funny they even list him as a celebrity.
I know. I want to see what it calls him.
It has to be like
it's
reality star.
It doesn't even. They don't even use the word star. Keeping Up with the Kardashians alum and dad to daughter Dream was born on March 17th.
That's funny.
Yep.
No reason they threw that in is because Black China. So.
Yeah, he's just related to the Kardashians and he had a kid. So, congratulations, Rob. Happy birthday.
With Black China. If it wasn't with if it was with an average girl, they wouldn't even mention the kid's name.
You're probably right. John Boyega. Star Wars.
Sounds familiar.
Star Wars. He was Finn.
Oh, okay. Black guy.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm
sure he did other stuff too.
He came to my mind at first. He has, and his other stuff's actually better. I don't care for.
Yeah, I'm sure it is that because those Star Wars movies sucked, but yeah, I bet he made a lot of money off of them. So congratulations to him. He's a good actor.
Yeah.
I like him.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, and happy birthday. I want to see what else he was in. Oh, he was in They Cloned Tyrone. I love that movie. I don't know if you watched that movie. That's funny as it's funny as shit. I think if I'm thinking of the right movie, it's good. I watched it with my dad.
Yeah.
All right, and now number 1. I forget who it is. Oh, never mind. No, I don't. It's Rob Lowe.
Rob Lowe. Wow.
Yeah.
I actually love Rob. I love him for a million things. First of all, that guy. I like him primarily for Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec. Yeah.
For me, that was the longest running show that I clearly saw him in. But the more that I learn about the history, the more that I love him because he's open about how dumb he was in his early 20s and 30s as an actor in terms of the drugs and shit and how he had to turn his life around. And it's fucking cool.
And now, while we wait for Wyatt's neighbor's apartment to be broken into, please enjoy this commercial break.
All right, so yeah, we had a brief little interruption, but the moral of the story is happy birthday, Rob Lowe, or at least I think that's what it was.
That definitely is it. Rob Lowe, you're a man of inspiration and a man of acting. So thanks.
That is true. He is a man of acting.
Yeah, it's about the most real credit I could give him. So
Yeah,
we'll just
Parks
move
and
on
Rec
from
was
there.
good.
Parks and Rec was great. I love that show. Yeah, well, you know what? Let's just move on with some. I'll just get right into it. So I was just curious. I was thinking about cool to record on St. Patrick's Day for St. Patrick's Day specifically, I guess. I want to know, like, dude, do you know why St. Patrick's Day is celebrated?
No.
And I believe that 99% of Americans don't know why it's celebrated. And so I looked it up. I'll just start there. So I looked up the origins of St. Patrick's Day, and that is to celebrate the Irish saint Patrick, who is credited with bringing Christianity to Ireland. And I only mention that one because I find it funny that nobody actually knows why it is celebrated. But two, I don't believe that getting super drunk and turning everything green relates to bringing Christianity to a country. I just found it really funny, though, because I also did not know, and I had never actually heard the meaning of the reason why we celebrate, or it is celebrated. I'm just heard it's celebrated as an Irish heritage or an Irish cultural celebration, but technically it's not. It's more of a religious celebration.
Yeah, I had no idea. I knew that it wasn't that Irish because I've seen, or it was Irish, but it wasn't. Because I've seen people say, oh, shit, what is it? Was it Halloween, maybe? But there's one holiday that's not like a real holiday. And then people are like, oh, well, such and such is more Irish than St. Patrick's Day is. Yeah, I was wrong about the Halloween thing. It wasn't Halloween. I tried to Google it real quick. I couldn't find what it is, but I've heard other people say. I might be thinking of something wrong.
That's
I might think of something really different.
The thing is,
somebody actually might say that about Halloween.
Well, that's not too. That's the thing.
Not being Irish, but somebody might be like, "Oh, well, this holiday is more this than Halloween is." But I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm lost in all of my fake drinking holidays.
The most Irish thing about, like, realistically, the most Irish heritage or Irish related thing to St. Patrick's Day that there is to the American celebrations is the fact that, like Steve, like my hat and like your shirt right there, it's green. And green, so I looked that up. I was like, why is green the thing? And it's just because it's not because green is like on the Irish flag. Technically it is, but both greens come from like the landscape of Ireland and how it all looks with the fields and with the rolling hills and everything. It's all grasslands for the most part. So I was like, well, that's interesting. I also did not realize that. But I was like, where did the green beer come from? And that's 100% American. Like
That's just capitalism, brother.
yeah,
That's what that is.
yeah. But I found it. I was like, man, what's something else that I could that like I don't know the information about, but I would like to know. And it comes to wearing green on St. Patrick's Day. I myself, I don't know why. I didn't know why people wore green on St. Patrick's Day. Do you?
No, I have no idea.
So again,
so you don't get pinched. Apparently, I don't know. That's the only thing I've ever heard.
well, technically, you are absolutely right. My whole idea, though, and in my personal experience, I've only been pinched by other people. But the tradition actually comes from you have to wear green on St. Patrick's Day or you get pinched by a leprechaun.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So my whole point is, where the heck are the leprechauns, man? Like, I see Steve, but there's been days that I haven't worn green on St. Patrick's Day, and I've never been pinched by a leprechaun. It's only people. So I'm kind of starting to attribute that to just America kind of taking over cultural tendencies and cultural heritages of other countries for no reason. We don't need to be pinched. I don't need to be pinched by other people. I don't need to be touched.
Do people actually do that? Because I would just slap the shit out of somebody. That would make me.
I remember in elementary school it being done a lot, and which is the only instances that I'm able to come to. But it's still to the point of like, why is it not taught that you're a leprechaun supposed to pinch you instead of somebody straight up asking you, "Are you wearing green today?" No, okay, and then so it's just really, I don't know, it's weird. A third question I asked Steve during the intermission. Is he relative or in relation to the Keebler elves? Because that man's ears look awfully familiar to me.
No, that is actually Steve St. Patrick. He's related to the original Patrick.
St. Patrick, wow. The patron saint of Ireland. Wow, that's
right. Yeah. Yeah, he's also related to Patrick Starr. Or at least he knows him.
Yeah, well, it's really funny. The only thing that's relatable between Patrick Starr and freaking St. Patrick's Day is ending up under a rock at the end of the night. Like, ain't nobody freaking. That's dude. Well, that's good to know. I was about to ask him at the end of the podcast to send me over a couple packages of some cookies, but now no need to do that. So cool. I guess the last thing really that I was wondering about, which is in there twice on your on old Steve up there, is where does the clover come from or the shamrock come from? Like, why is it originated? Why is the clover that is on everything St. Patrick's Day 3-leafed, whereas 4-leaf is supposed to be good luck?
Huh.
Like, it makes no sense to me. I'm really curious. And I was looking at Steve when I thought of this question, because it was whenever I was editing the podcast last week, and it makes no sense to me, because if you Google, most of the things that are Irish related are 3-leaf and not 4. So I don't know this, but is that an American? Is that kind of an American conception or marketed to just us? Because
I don't know.
We don't know enough.
That's a good question. They could very well do that and get away with it. Nobody would bat an eye.
I couldn't. Whenever I looked up a little bit on it, I was just curious why everything is 3-leaf, and whenever it's Irish related, I can. So 3-leaf technically should be good luck, because a 3-leaf clover, or what is known as a shamrock, represents the Holy Trinity, which is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. What's the fourth one? Green beer?
That might be it.
I really don't know. But I was just thinking about that, and Steve brought up so many questions in my mind that I was like, man, I should ask him and ask you. Maybe the general public might know, or they might not know. But yeah, just weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know, dude. Those are some damn good questions.
Yeah,
I wish I had answers for any of them. I actually might
Oh,
Because what I do have, what I had, okay, there it is 30 facts about St. Patrick's Day. 30 amazing facts about St. Patrick's Day. I'm not going to read all 30 of them. I bet they're all not amazing either.
I guarantee that because there's not 30 amazing facts about anything.
That's true. Okay, yeah, St. Patrick's Day commemorates the arrival of Christianity in Ireland. Happened in the year 432.
Holy crap!
A long ass time ago.
I have a coin older than that, just so everybody knows. That is
Damn.
crazy. Yeah, that's crazy though.
At the age of 16, St. Patrick was kidnapped and taken to Ireland.
Wait,
He worked.
Wait.
Yeah,
what?
kidnapped by a group of Irish raiders who were attacking his family's estate. I hope this is all bullshit. That'd be awesome. He worked there for 6 years tending sheep and then escaped to become a priest.
Dude, that 100. So, no,
That's pretty sick. If
no.
that's true, he deserves his own holiday. That's awesome.
I'm going to run on the fact that that is true on the basis of, for me personally, whenever I read that he brought Christianity to Ireland, I was wondering, how did you bring a religion that is not at all even considered in this part or on this in this country here and get people to accept you? But if he was a part of, like, he knew the Irish culture since he was there for as long as he was. Bro, that is crazy. That is an amazing fact. That's awesome.
It's St. Patrick's Day is also known as the Feast of St. Patrick and the Day of the Festival of Patrick. That's what I'm going to call it for the rest of my life.
Yep. Happy Day of Festival of St. Patrick.
Yeah. 6. St. Patrick. Okay, this touches on the shamrock. St. Patrick used a shamrock. It doesn't touch on the four-leaf, but it says he used the shamrock to teach the pagans about the Holy Trinity. The shamrock is now the official flower of Ireland. I did not know that.
Bro, that is cool. That's really cool because it's, in my eyes, it's a grass. And, like, I don't know a lot of environmental stuff, but technically I'm certified in some environmental stuff, and I know all of West Virginia's. No, I have a book on all of West Virginia's, and it's not considered a flower, I don't think.
St. Patrick's Day has been observed by the Irish as a religious holiday for more than 1,000 years. That's pretty cool. This fact is actually pretty sick.
Shouldn't it be, which I know solid numbers, like as a marketing person, I know solid numbers are, solid numbers sound better. But they weren't writing this shit and emailing it or posting it on social media. So isn't it technically like almost 1900 years that it's been celebrated?
Yeah, probably close.
That's crazy.
When did they make it a holiday?
Well, yeah, I guess I don't know that. I was kind of just going off whenever he came there.
Oh yeah, it just said the arrival of Christianity happened in 432. Yeah, it didn't say that's when they made it the holiday.
Okay.
I don't know when they made it the holiday. Maybe we'll find out.
Yeah.
But the original color that was associated with St. Patrick was blue.
Blue's a cool color, but this is, I get it. It's a little more standoutish.
Yeah, it says the color blue was featured both in the royal court and on ancient Irish flags. In 1798, the color green became officially associated with the day.
I was about to ask you why blue specifically, but perfectly. Perfect.
The first St. Patrick's Day parade was held in Waterford, the oldest and the fifth most populous city in Ireland, in 1903. The first parade, 1903. That's pretty cool. More than 100 St. Patrick's Day parades were held across the United States. Almost 12% of Americans claim Irish ancestry. More people of Irish ancestry live in the United States than in Ireland. That might have been the fact that I was hearing. That might have been the thing that I was mistaking with the holidays earlier.
Still, to me, no offense.
It doesn't to me, because we have a lot of white people in the United States that came from Europe, and Ireland is not that big. So, yeah, it doesn't say we have more full-blown Irish people. It says we have more people of Irish descent.
Okay, that makes sense. I just looked it up. 3.47 million identify as Irish with some degree, whereas Ireland is only 6.6 million in population, so 4.75. So, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That's crazy to think about, but not really, because USA rocks.
Let's see. On St. Patrick's Day, Catholics attend church in the morning and then watch a St. Patrick's Day parade. I don't know why that's an amazing fact. That's not that cool. Oh, here's another one. The Chicago River is dyed green on this day. I think a lot of people knew that.
Yeah.
The first year the river was dyed green, 100 pounds of vegetable dye was released into the river. This kept the river green for almost a week.
That is great. What's really ironic, I actually, just because I know about it, I don't have it written down because I was curious. I was like, man, because a lot of people swim, kayak, boat, everything in the river during that time. First of all, the Chicago River is known for its pollution. Known for how disgusting the pollution runoff, the city runoff, just everything is to such a high degree that over the recent years it's been changed. But, and I know they used I'm sure they use dye that's like, environmentally safe, but. Would you, let me just ask you, because you're the person I do this with, would you go to, let's say it's 70 degrees, 72 degrees on St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
You're in Chicago celebrating. You've done everything else. You've eaten the food. You've already walked along everything. You've drank with people. You've done all this. You see everybody around you just piling into the river. Would you jump into the river?
No, I'm not a very good swimmer. That's probably the main reason. But yeah, no, probably not. I'm not the first person to jump in a river in any scenario, but especially not if it's green. I would be afraid that it would dye me green.
That's funny. That is funny.
Yeah, but I wouldn't jump on it. But This here, it doesn't specify a difference in the dye, only the amount of dye. It says today they only use 40 pounds of green dye. They used to use 100 pounds. The first time they used 100 pounds. Now they only use, and it says the green dye, like it's referring to the original
specific,
one that they were talking about. Yeah, it says, however, they use only 40 pounds of the green dye to color the river for the day to keep the environmental damages in check. Now the dye lasts about 5 hours.
Okay. So how many... So they only have it in there for a 5-hour period. That doesn't make sense. So they have to technically they have to be realistic. That dye's got to be in there for at least a 14-hour period, I would say. Are people?
Oh yeah, it would have to take a minute for it to catch the whole river, I would imagine.
But then also, if it's green for that long, I think it's actually green for a minimum of 14 hours. So, though the dye may be less in terms of quantity to make it that green, if you have to put more in because of the duration of it, like 100 pounds made it for a week. What does it do now?
Yeah. Now it says 40 pounds lasts 5 hours. So I don't know where the math is on that, but I'm also not a river dyeing specialist. I'm not sure.
Actually, no. What I look right here, according to Fox 32 Chicago, says that they really only leave it green for 5 hours. So you have a specific time frame to catch it, or else it's not caught.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, that's good, because I was actually more concerned about the environmental damage, and like for a city that has as many issues as it does, I was curious if what they were doing.
I don't know why, but I thought you were about to say SUVs.
They do have a lot of SUVs. The populace, I do believe, are store clerks. More percentage of them, and being store clerks, they do indeed drive SUVs. Easier to get. What would we say? Just store content, merchandise.
Yeah. Merchandise is a good one.
Merchandise.
Here's speaking of selling shit. Here's number 15. I know I haven't said 15 of these facts. I've skipped some of them because some of them are either dumb or I don't understand them.
I like
Guinness. Guinness almost doubles its sales on St. Patrick's Day as compared to the every other day of the year. 5.5 million pints of it is sold on average.
I fully believe that, and
I do too.
Me personally, no offense to Guinness, I don't care. I'm not a dark lager type of person, and that's what Guinness is. I've tried foreign ones. I've tried the American ones. I'm a light beer drinker if I'm going to drink beer, and if I'm not drinking beer, I want to drink something with a higher alcohol content. But I have seen a lot of people, just news agencies and stuff. They do the Guinness challenge to try to split the G. So that makes sense to me because shoot, the news agencies I see, if there are 5 people that are talking about it or trying to split the G at 8 o'clock in the morning, probably increase the sale for the average person.
Let's see. On this day, people usually eat. This one's not interesting at all. It's just funny. It's funny the way they worded it. On this day, people usually eat corned beef and cabbage, and they wear green. However, corned beef is an English dish and not Irish.
Yeah, you know what's really funny too is people don't eat cabbage for this. Like, I know this for a fact. There are a lot of Irish in West Virginia. People do not eat cabbage for St. Patrick's Day. They eat cabbage for New Year's.
New Year's
is supposed to bring it good luck, which is ironic because cabbage for New Year's is not even an American tradition. But yeah,
I did it this year.
we sell it. Faith does it every year. I don't do vegetables, but her whole family does. Faith makes sure she gets at least an egg roll or something or whatever cabbage comes in from the Chinese place, and she'll eat that if she doesn't have it to cook.
Yeah, I didn't do it on purpose. I just had it because Jocelyn was baking it, and I was like, "Oh hell yeah, food!"
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Man, I wish I was like that. I'm just not for some reason. I'm such a picky eater, even as an adult. That like now it's more tameable because I'm like, dude, I'm the easiest person to choose to eat with, but I hate it because I don't enjoy a lot of varieties of food.
Yeah, this one's a fucking crazy one here. Between 1903 and 1970, most pubs in Ireland were closed on St. Patrick's Day because it was a religious holiday.
See, that's where I got the religious part. It's super American to make it a drinking like it is the drinking holiday.
It has become a national holiday since then, even in Ireland, and drinking on this day has become a strong St. Patrick's Day tradition, is what it says here.
Well, that's because the Irish lost all their faith and had to take up drinking.
That's right. That's true.
I'm sorry. Whenever potatoes aren't selling for you or aren't growing for you, yeah, God isn't helping you much. But man, this potato whiskey sure is. Let's just freaking have at it.
The world's shortest St. Patrick's Day parade, it doesn't say the city, but it says it's held in Arkansas, and it is 98 feet long. I'm on a different page, so I can't see your face, but I'd like to. I gotta go back to see your reaction.
I'm just speechless right now. I bet that is 7 vehicles and 2 at a time, 3 at a time. I wish it told you how long the duration was, because is it just the short street that they choose it on, or is it actually nobody participates?
I don't know. I'm gonna look into that. Let's look into that one. 98. Wellsville. Yep. Everyone is Irish for Wellsville's son of a bitch. Fucking pop-ups, hold on. For Wellsville St. Patrick's Day Parade. My God. Let's see. Oh! Dude, that article must be either wrong or it lied, because in Wellsville they have one that's 12 feet long.
I don't know about that. All I see is where it's at and what time it starts. And I see that
it says the distance from the Heart, an Irish boutique, and the Wellsville Brewing Company pub. The parade route is the shortest known St. Patrick's Day parade route. Although not officially recognized, okay, that's why. Not officially recognized, each year the route is carefully measured by a certified surveyor and a village trustee. One and the same, green lines are painted on the pavement to designate the parade route. These guys, that's awesome. They go from an Irish boutique down the street to drink beer.
I see the 98-foot one, and that one actually, they do 4 at a time. There's actually a fair amount of people. So I think it's probably just because the town's so small or the city's so small that they split it up or is so much that it actually lasts a decent amount of time.
All right. That's fucking...
But cool. Well, heck yeah.
Crazy.
Wellsville, you're funny. Shout out Wellsville, Arkansas.
All right, I'm looking through these facts, and unfortunately, it doesn't answer your question at all about the four-leaf clover. The only thing it says is finding a four-leaf clover on St. Patrick's Day is considered lucky, as you only have one chance in 10,000. Generally, you will find a three-leaf clover.
I believe that. I think I probably found less than 10 in my life. So
in my life, I only remember finding one.
Oh,
I was very little.
I found a fair amount, but I also, if you look at the acreage that I had to cover and look through comparative to you, it kind of adds up to where the percentage equals out, I would say.
I don't know. Before I moved to Glenville, I lived in the middle of nowhere. Though we had a whole bunch of land. I just didn't go out a whole lot, other than the backyard to play like baseball with Josh and shit. But
yeah, but for me, I don't really remember a lot of stuff as a child in terms of like finding them. So mine's more as from like probably 8 to 18 years old. So being as an adult, so within the time period that I met you, I would say I probably found about 6 to 7 to be safe.
Oh, really? I think I've found one.
But that's with a shit ton of, like, I mean, we have 6 acres that we mow and weed eat every single week at my parents', and so that's over however many times throughout a year, over 10 years. Like, so I would say that my odds were actually lower than that because I either cut them before I saw them or just never saw them to begin with. So that's really incredible, and that's cool to actually just have some odds in general, so that if anybody watches this and they find one, they're like, "Oh wow, I'm this lucky!" Like, actually this lucky.
Well, that was about it for my facts. St. Patrick's Day is cool. It's fun. Go out, be fun, have responsible. Jesus Christ, I am luckily having responsible right now because I'm not going anywhere. But yeah, be responsible. Don't do dumb shit. Drink, stay indoors. Don't drive your car. Get a DD or whatever. Have responsible. I want that on a goddamn shirt.
Yeah, I fully like that.
Have responsible is fucking sick.
Well, with that, folks,
that's the clip this week. I'm making that shit immediately.
Well, that's a wrap on our St. Patrick's Day shenanigans. Remember, drink responsibly, wear green so you don't get pinched by a leprechaun, and if you wake up tomorrow under a rock like Patrick Star, well, at least you woke up. So let's go.
That's true.
Get to work and let's start your next day.
Yeah, and have responsible.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what sucks is I'm not going to remember that. I'm going to be sitting here next week and I'm going to be like, what was that fucking thing that I said wrong?
Oh, bro, I want to make that one of our stickers. For everybody that may want one, I'm going to have some stickers that'll be thrown out, but also for purchase eventually whenever we get everything up and running. And have responsibly.
Have responsible. I think it was just have responsible. It wasn't responsibly. It was just have responsible. Have responsible. That's awesome. I want it like with you need to make a little cartoon me holding like a cup of beer, and I've got like, my eyes are everywhere. They're not straight. Just as have responsible.
Bro, I just wrote that down right there, but give me a second. I'm pulling up my phone now. I'm going to put that in my notes because that will literally be a sticker.
Or it could be one of the cats. One of the cats would be good too. We need to have one of the cats make a guest appearance other than Tony. We need to have my cat make a guest appearance. He doesn't live with me. I guess it's not fair calling him my cat. He lives with my mom, but he lived there for the first like 5 years of his life, and then by that point he was used to the big ass house, so I didn't want to take him with me to my little ass houses.
You guys will see him actually. You'll see both. I've made him a little chubbier, but you'll see both Ollie and Tony in this week's commercial.
And honestly, with my new work schedule that's coming up, you will probably some weeks see him like real life. Like I will probably have some episodes from there. Whenever I have like a Monday, Tuesday off, I will probably make a trip because I was going to say Mom doesn't work Mondays, but that's not right. Yeah. She does work Mondays now. She didn't used to work Mondays.
Man, this is kind of a sad transition, but just because I'm talking to you about this is our podcast. Man, Faith just informed me that Deb died. Deb passed away,
Yeah.
bro. That's
I heard about that yesterday from Mom. I felt bad. Dude. Like, she wasn't my favorite person in the world, but that doesn't matter. Like, she doesn't have to be.
same.
It just sucks. It sucks, like, because it's not like I had a problem with her. It's just that I wasn't super close with her. But it's like, my mom worked for her for a long time. And it was like, man, somebody that you used to see, like, literally every day in your life is gone. It's just such a strange concept. It sucks. I feel really bad for the family. Rest in peace, Debbie. For real. So my mom's boss for however many years.
Sold her the business.
I told my mom one thing though. Like, I'm not trying to be funny, but it is kind of funny because I told her, like, what happened isn't funny. But I told my mom, I said, man, because I don't know, because her old boss a few years ago that was on the other side of town, she passed away a couple years ago. And I told my mom, I said, man, if I ever run a business and I need some employees, I tell you one thing, you ain't fucking working for me. I've seen what happens. I've seen what happens whenever you work for people, man.
That's on the funny side of this. On the real side of this, because I can't think of anything besides, like, I'm with you. Like, I still have Debbie saying, like I still have it in my mind the way that she said, "Hey, Justin," every time I walked in. I did my senior internship there, so I was there for 4.5 months straight.
Yeah, you're there every day. Going down and doing your work. You're letting the dog out. Letting the dog out for Mom.
I was showing people how to tan. I was doing their nails. Supervising their haircuts.
I was hanging out with my coach, setting baseball lineups that included me on the bench.
Oh,
that was like me at first base. He's like, I don't know about that one. Hold on, we're gonna give you a rest day. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean, bro?
oh,
You can just tell me I'm not good.
but bro, man, for real though, Debbie, I just have so many memories of her. And you know what? I'm just to talk on like what you're talking about. I'd let your mom work for me any day of the week because unfortunately, lifestyle and your lifestyle habits play into so much of it that. Yeah. I don't know about her previous boss, so I can't speak for her. But specifically for Debbie, as much as I genuinely I did love and care for Debbie.
I like Debbie. Yeah, she was always very nice to me.
It's just I can see how lifestyle may have contributed to. Which she wasn't young by any age, but
no, but she also wasn't old.
She wasn't.
I know what you mean.
You know, so like for me personally, it's just like, man, it just. I mean, honestly, when Faye told me that, I mean, dude, for me, it was like I am so glad that I'm just glad that I'm glad that I'm not into the habits that I used to be or even close to, you know, like whether they're a decade old more than realistically or not. Taking care of yourself, whenever somebody that you know passes away, it just kind of makes you reflect a little bit. And with me not leaving town, it makes me reflect even more because I'm like, man, like not only do I know her, like I see her daughter-in-law and work with her daughter-in-law at least once a month. And obviously her son, you know, way better than I do. It's just to that extent that you can't not think about kind of your own life and what can you do to make sure that, man, that's...
Well, yeah, when I heard the news, the only thing that went through my head was, what if that happened to me? Not like what happened to her, but like I was thinking of, you know, the family and stuff, and I was like, man, fucking, like regardless of how old anybody is, somebody lost their mom. I was like, I wouldn't know what to, you know what I mean? I wouldn't know how to handle that. But yeah, you're right. Like you, somebody you know, whenever something bad happens to them or whatever, like it does kind of kick you in the ass. I'm not the most healthy person in the world, but I think you've known me my whole life. I think even you can like probably notice the difference, at least the slight difference in consistent like health that I have. A couple extra precautions that I've taken just since my dad got diagnosed with cancer a couple years back, and I was like, well, I don't want that to happen to me. So.
And I like that you touched on health, but in my eyes, I don't see it as health. Like for me personally, I see it as you made lifestyle choices at that time that weren't benefiting your health. Like,
oh yeah, no.
Because or not solely your health, you know,
yeah.
But were benefiting your lifestyle and overall. And And absolutely, I mean, we talked about them almost immediately over the various conversations we had at that time period.
Yeah.
And I was able to notice them. We touched base on them like I had talked about, but yeah, it just gives you that gives you a different perception. You have that same mindset, but it gives you a different perception in terms of like uh, uh, short term benefit to long term to long term benefit, or the opposite, I guess, really. But just the consequences of, and I think that's another thing that just like more than anything, like I know we're really dumb on this podcast and we just say
very.
whatever, and but it kind of goes back to what I was trying to think about how to like sum up our podcast, and I really think that it's everything from like just daily conversations to funny laughs to very average person's perceptions on life and our experiences, and I just because of the conversations that we get to have with our between ourselves and with our significant others, and then other friends and other relationships that we built throughout our lives, uh, it really, at least for me, I feel like we bring real world points of view and real world opinions to average perceptions of things that happen in our daily lives, kind of to the podcast, but also just to YouTube or to wherever we're posting it to. Like that's kind of what we're giving. Like it's for me, it's not just about having the dumb laughs with you because we can just wait till you come in and do that. It's also
we do that anyway. We arguably have like as much fun as we've had on here and laughs that we've had on here. We have a lot more in person. I think it's because we take the reins off. Like, you know, we get on here and we have like a window of what does and doesn't get talked about. We have like a box, and it's an unspoken box. It's not even anything that we're just like, all right, we can't talk about this, can't talk about this, can talk about this. It's not. It's kind of just like an understanding. It's like, no, probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
And then there's some things that it's not just a probably shouldn't. It's like anybody that watches this isn't going to know who the fuck we're talking about, so we just don't.
Yeah, no relevance.
Yeah, that's a lot of what it is too. Like a lot of it is only relevant to us, and then a lot of it is like a lot of it's stuff that's like it's not like it's offensive or terrible or anything that would get us like kicked off of the internet, but some of it's just like
their singular point of views to a point. Like it's not such a generic thing.
What I like to think of some of them are is like if you were to take a clip of about 15 seconds on Twitter of you just take any given 15 seconds out of this, you might be able to hate us.
That's a good point. That's a good point. The way that I like to look at us, if you were to watch our podcast, you would be able to identify us as the side characters of a TV show with the best one-liners. We will wait for the moment and we will say it. If you were able to just give us one moment, that's what it would be. If you give us the whole show, we can be stupid and dumb and irrelevant for parts of it.
It will probably get taken off of the air, but a very select few amount of people will love it with everything in them.
Yeah. So, in a 23-minute showtime, if you give us each 2.5 minutes of air time, of talk time, they could be worthwhile. They could be worthwhile if you choose the right ones, you know? Yeah. They could work well. That's fun.
Yeah, dude.
That's fun.
Yeah, I think I always thought, and it was funny because I remember whenever we talked about starting this thing, and I remember you said, Faith asked you, what's it going to be about? Jocelyn asked me the same thing. She said, what's it going to be about? And I said, I don't know.
No.
I don't think there's not a whole lot of things without intentionally changing what we do, like in our off time. There's not many singular topics that we could have a full podcast on, because like as similar as we are, we're also very different. I feel like we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but we like a lot of different shit. We like some of the same shit. We're like at base layer pretty like we're close to the same person at the base, like, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to say that we're some kind of different fucking people. Like at the end of the day, a pretty normal person, like at least base layer, a pretty normal person is everywhere around you, and that's kind of what we are. Just like normal ass dudes. We have different interests. I don't know if there's a single interest that we could pick and get as much like content out of as we do.
I don't think so. I think we like you're saying, we align in a lot of areas, but the degree of interest in each of those alignments are more like and we're easily identified. Like we know, like, okay, if I bring this up, I can talk base layer on this and hand it off to you, and you'll be able to take it, and we can make it into a 5-8 minute conversation.
And we've done that quite a bit. I think that's a lot of what we fuel on is like, well, like I've noticed that me and you both will like see something and we'll be like, I don't know about this, but I bet Justin would. You know what I mean? And then we bring it to the table. Like you asked me about AI a couple of weeks ago. But it's just like there's a lot of stuff that one of us could touch on and then the other one could fully explain.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of what we do. I don't think that's why we could have a podcast with a specific topic. I don't think it would work.
Yeah.
We could do I think we could do one during football season if we really wanted to, but it would be football and football season only. And I think it would probably strictly be fantasy football.
Yeah.
Which I do think we need a fantasy segment whenever the season rolls around.
Yeah,
but,
we'll absolutely we'll do a recap. Just for a 5-second recap, I did incredibly good last year, which does not happen. At the end.
I won money. I won money at work.
That's great.
Sorry, work. I don't know if I was supposed to say that.
Other doesn't happen averagely, or on the average. While we're talking about our podcast, whenever I was trying to describe it, I actually took the time, because I didn't have anything except a few minutes each evening, and between drawing, I'm only thinking about the podcast with the stickers. I actually took the time to write down what I think our podcast is, and tell me if you think this is accurate. So our podcast, for the most part, is more of a humorous / motivational podcast, and by that I mean we focus on our life progression, we focus on our personal experiences and our personal growth. It's entertaining to a casual extent. Like, just listen along, and periodically you'll be entertained while periodically learning a little bit about it. We share stories, some laughs, some insights. We try to mix both motivation and fun with just straight informational, while making it relevant to just what me and you would talk about anyways. And within that, we're able to develop this really cool dynamic, able to crack jokes in between like we would normally, and it really developed, like, in my eyes, even though at times we do have notes that we try to run off of, it created this organic style that definitely has been done a million times and can be found on a million more successful podcasts, but definitely works for us.
Yeah. It's if we really wanted to, I think on any given day, as long as we only did it once a week, I think on any given day, if we really wanted to, we could both sit down here with nothing written down and we could make a full podcast out of it, and nobody would have any idea. Yeah. Nobody would notice a difference. Like, it would be pretty much the same thing. Yeah. Other than maybe a couple more pauses, which we, take out in post. So it's
happens anyway.
So nobody would notice. Yeah.
It's just I don't know. It's crazy that, like, how the transition of hearing that she passed away to where it really where it really falls to, and where the thought trains kind of take you. But I don't know. It just makes me more and more appreciative again for where I'm at in my life, people that I have in me, what I'm doing currently. But then also, like we talked about, makes you reflect and be like, man, what decisions can I make to consciously benefit me in the future, to prolong those 65 years to a 72, those 72 to a 76, those 76 to an 85, and so on, And fuck, we both know just as much as anybody. Like, we have our personal vices. We have dealt with our nicotine addictions. We've dealt with our periods of what
we dealt with our nicotine addictions as me and you both sit here vaping the whole podcast.
I think about this is how bad my addiction is. When in post, whenever I'm editing this, just so everybody knows, I count the amount of times that I
Oh my
hit my
god.
nicotine per 5 minutes.
You're a fucking masochist. I would never. I'd be like, dude, I don't even want to know.
It's because I'm like it's because I'm so self-conscious about it, and honestly, it's what benefit. It's the biggest benefit of having a kid, and it's my favorite quote. If we ever get ask our favorite quotes, it'll be one of mine. But I have a favorite quote that kind of just reflects on having a kid and the impact that it does. But like, man, you could have asked me from the age of 18 to 23 years old, how long do you think you'll live? I'm going to live to mid 40s, and in those 45 years, I'm going to live to my fullest and do the most craziest fun experience things.
I've heard you say that a lot. I think I've heard you say an even lower number.
I probably
I think I have probably heard you say 35 a couple of times.
I probably have. Like, and I truly meant that at that time because I didn't have expectations other than wanting to be remembered by the people that I loved and cared about. But now it's tenfold, and it's making sure that those memories are like even so. If anybody doesn't have a kid now, Wyatt, I know you don't, but if you have one in the future, this is something that I do. I'm the only person that I know that has ever done it. When Layla was born, I made an email address specifically for her, and it's connected to mine. But every month, I send her on her like birth date of that month. I send her a monthly update of like everything that's happened.
Oh, that's
just
cool.
Random stuff that has made me remember, and it comes from that specific idea of worrying that I'm not going to be around as long as I would like to be for her, and making sure that okay, so well, if I'm like worst case scenario, I'm not here in 18 years, 17 years from now. I can have Faith give her this, and she has 14, 15 plus years of 12, a minimum 12, but usually like this year I've done 15, I think. But emails specifically to her, just talking about moments, lives, or moments in her lives, big occasions, special occasions, just anything random. But it's more just, it's for her, but it's also for you because best case scenario, I'm 70 years old. And unfortunately, with my life habits from the ages of 14 to 21, I may not have the best memory at 70. But if I have access to this email, I'll get those flashbacks.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It's just like twofold safety of memories, and I don't know. It's just awesome. It's just something small that could mean a lot. You know.
When did you plan on giving that to her?
On her 18th birthday.
18th birthday. What if she ends up like by the time she's like 13, 14, and somehow we still do this show, and she's sitting here just like going back and watching old episodes, and she gets to 12. She's like 13 or 14 years old, and she's like pounding on your door. Where's the fucking password? Password of the fucking email right now, Dad.
See, that's actually what I'm scared about, is that me and her are going to be best friends from ages 10 months, which has happened so far, to about 12 years old. And from 12 to 22, she's going to despise me. And she'll just be that tormenting, like, I want my shit. You said it's for me 20 years ago. Give it to me. So I could see that. But in all reality, I actually plan to give it to, like, worst case scenario, if I pass away, I plan on having Faith give it to her around 16. Because if hopefully, if something happens and I know that it's some sort of terminal case, I'll pre-write some stuff specific, and then try to attribute it there, and then it'll still work out, you know. But still, you know.
I do want you to know, if you ever die prematurely, I will somehow, some way, collect the 7 Dragon Balls, and I will wish you back to Earth.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
Bro.
So
Thank you.
I just want you to know that.
I'm gonna come back and live with you. Screw Faith and Layla. I'm coming back and living with you. They're the ones that are probably gonna speak at my funeral, but you're the only ones that are willing to go to the end of the earth to find all 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna go find all the 7 Dragon Balls. I've even watched the new series. I know that there's a different place I can go to, and I only gotta collect 3. I just gotta fight some guys. So I'll yeah.
Do a little
yeah.
pre-workout right before you go over there, and you'll be
I'll
ready.
do a little pre-workout, all right. Yeah, I'll go to every store in the county, brother.
Oh man, I appreciate it. See, that's why I'm doing the podcast with you. I don't know many other people that would be willing to risk their life and really spend their Dragon Balls on mine. So that means a lot. So thank you very much.
Well, I got to resort to the Dragon Balls. I can't call fucking John Cena anymore because he broke up with everybody yesterday. So
yeah, I've seen so many things about him. You know what's funny? After that post that I sent you, where I was like, man, I saw him like bitching about you guys making me a meme for 20 years. I saw
that shit
somebody
was sick.
directly after sub comment under a WWE like that video, and they made him invisible while he was saying that. And I was like, that's right. That's the good
John Cena is the shit. That's how you can tell how good he is at acting. Because I was watching that yesterday. It was on yesterday afternoon, like right when I got home from work. I was like, oh shit, okay. Because they were in Europe. So they still wanted to air it live. It was nighttime over there, so I watched it. It was the first thing that was on. And I was like, damn. I said, I can tell this guy is very good at his job because I'm having a hard time believing if he's serious.
See,
I'm like, I don't know if he was serious now or if he was serious then. Like, I said, he's fucking like, I feel like he's mad at some people. Did you see the clip where he got pissed off and pointed over at that kid and it cut straight to the kid?
Yeah.
I have a Snapchat of that I'll send to you. My laugh is fucking crazy because I did not know it was going to happen.
That's the only reason that I knew that it was in Europe was because that kid's hat has the country that it's in. It says, you can't see me John Cena's last tour or something like that.
Yeah, it's Brussels, Belgium, yeah.
Brussels, that's what it was.
That's what, like, he's had a different, I'll send you I just found the Snapchat. I saved it. I sent it to you. But it was, yeah, that guy's smart as shit, man. You know, you're a finance guy. That guy's smart as shit. Every single show that he's done, he has shown up with a different shirt.
It's the same as
I bought his Indy shirt because I was in Indy. He had a Toronto shirt last month.
Oh, bro, if my goal, you know what? If I had one goal, it would be to go to one of the shows this year.
They'll be here in June. They're doing Raw in June here. I don't know if he's going to be there, but they're doing it here. Because Jocelyn sent me the thing too, dude. I got her hooked. We watched a couple of we watched like two of the Raws on Netflix, and then like she goes and like asking me on Mondays. She's like, is Raw on tonight? And I'm like, oh shit, yeah, it is. Like, I'll be sitting there playing games and it'll be 7:55, and she's like, is Raw on tonight? I'm like, oh, fuck. All right, yeah, it is. I forgot.
Dude, maybe it's just my perception and my mindset changing. I know that I would cream my panties at a live show. I can't get into it. I can't get into it on TV as much. But
yeah,
a lot of that is also because so much of the TV shit is just talking on microphones. I can't just say it's because of, you know, the show itself.
Yeah, no, that's because yesterday that's what I did. So like I showed up. It aired at 3. I didn't get home till like 3:45. So what I did is I put it on Netflix and I played from the beginning. And then like aside from the John Cena segment, like I skipped all the talking parts and I just watched the matches and I was like, yo, this is pretty good. Yeah. I was like if I'm not listening to this horrendous acting, these guys hurting each other is pretty fucking sweet.
It makes it like old school. Old school
yeah.
was all action, or they at least knew in between. Like, again, I have to say I'm not enough of a fan. I guess I would have to refer to you. At least with the shows that I used to watch, there was so much fireworks and music and explosions and enough going on that not just distracted the crowd, distracted the people that were solely watching the ring. You know? It just, the perception was different, I guess, for the viewer. So that may be, that's just on me personally.
Yeah, it's, their production nowadays is iffy. It's like, man, when they're doing stuff, it's entertaining. But every show, even the ones I went to, other than the pay-per-views, other than the big shows, and even those, really, but not as much. But like the Raws on Netflix are like, it feels like it's a 2.5 hour show. Like real time, it's actually a 2.5 hour show. it could very easily be an hour 30, an hour 45. Like, it just feels so stretched out. But then sometimes it feels so rushed. And it's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, why are you, like, for one, you're on Netflix. You don't have a runtime. Why are you rushing to end this? If it's good, why are you rushing to end it? And then if it's not good, why are you dragging it out? Why am I getting a 25, 30-minute segment to start the show, and then you're cutting this fucking banger match short at the end? Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? I just don't get it.
Actually,
like,
that's especially because you've been to more than the most. I'm guessing the average fan.
Oh yeah, because the average fan just sits and bitches on Twitter. Most of the average fans don't actually go to shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the real giant fucking fans go to shows, and the average fans get on Twitter and bitch and complain about what they don't like. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna look at me and Faith some tickets for June, just because me and her like doing such a variety of events, and especially just because it's good just to do random things to see what you may like. And all live events are fucking sick, and they're great date nights.
If you guys went, let me know, because me and Jocelyn are probably going anyway. So, like, if you guys have a decision, because, that's what, when I took her to those shows in Indy, she was like, I mean, like, she liked it beforehand, but she liked it more after we went. But yeah, she was like, yeah, whenever they go to Pittsburgh, we got to go. I'm like, yeah, of course we do. Because I remember I went to that one back in October, and she was like, oh, okay, you're going to that? And then I took her to one, and she's like, all right, that was fun. I'm like, yeah, it is fun. You just got to actually go. Like, that's the only reason. I would say if I didn't go to that those couple with Josh back in August, I wouldn't have watched shit. I only kind of, like, really got back into it because I knew me and Josh were going, so I was like, all right, I'm going to watch some shit going into it so I know what's going on. And then I went there, and then I was like, damn, that was a blast. Like, that was super fucking fun.
Where do you sit at? Because I'm gonna look at tickets tomorrow, if not later tonight.
In a stadium, in an outdoor stadium, don't get a corner. But we're not. There's not gonna be an outdoor stadium for a while around here. But like an indoor arena, you're seriously fine wherever. We sat in nosebleeds. We sat in in Indy, it was $40 tickets. Whenever me and Josh went, it was $80 tickets. But Cleveland and Indy are two entirely different economies and, wrestling markets too, I would assume.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the tickets aren't crazy, and then whenever me and Jocelyn went and me and Josh went, we sat in essentially the same spot when we went to the TV show.
Huh. I'm just getting this up on my phone right now.
Now, when we went to the pay-per-views, because I went to one with Josh and one with Jocelyn as well.
Yeah.
Me and Josh got not great tickets. Like, we would have if we would have thought about positioning a little bit, but since we went to the Cleveland Browns Stadium, whatever the hell it's called, First Energy Stadium, I think it is, when we went there, it's outdoors. So in order to have the proper lighting and everything they need to run a production, they have to put this giant fucking canopy above the ring with these giant pillars in the corners.
Yeah.
We had to either, like, if the match went outside of the ring, we could see it, and other than that, we had to look at the video board. But when me and Jocelyn went, we went to a stadium show as well, but it was Lucas Oil, which was indoors, so they didn't have to have that giant canopy. We also sat way up, but because there's not a giant fucking canopy in your way, we could see perfectly fine. And I was like, whoa, like for what we paid, these are pretty good. So, yeah, but it's, the TV shows are always fun. I think they're always a blast, especially if you have the time to stick around after, because they always do a couple of matches that they don't record, they don't air on TV. And those are always, like, just having fun, like crowd work, doing goofy shit, like, what you go to it's a fucking carnival act. It's a circus act. And it's kind of what you go to a circus to see. You're like, wow, this is fucking silly. I love this.
Yeah.
I have one of those to go to, I think. Kevin's? Have you got an actual invitation from them? I hate to put them on blast on air, Okay. That's all I got to. Okay, just making sure. Just making sure. I didn't want to be mad at them. I wouldn't have been mad at them at all. I just moved. I would have had to like. I do need to tell him like, hey, I do not have the address I gave you last time. I know. Did you? Nate did, right? I don't think you did. I don't remember, because I don't remember communicating anything as to whether or not I was going to your wedding. I think you just like automatically assumed yes, which was correct. Right. But I know with Nate's, I remember I think Maya might have texted me and been like, hey, like, yeah,
traditional too. So I love see the confirmation. So yeah, I think it was Nate's. I would say you're right.
Yeah, because I remember one of them texted me and they were like, hey, like, I know I'm sure you're going or whatever, like, if you can, but can you give us a response on the thing? And I was like, oh shit, yeah, sorry. Like, I didn't know there was a, like, I just, because whenever I got it, I got the invitation and I saw it was Nathan and Maya, and I'm like, of course I'm fucking going. They don't need to ask me.
Yeah, that's how it was for me. Yeah, that just makes me think. Just a PSA for anybody that is getting married or gonna get married. Eat your wedding food, the caterer that you buy before the wedding, so that you
eat the caterer, not the food. Eat the caterer.
Yeah, not the food, just the caterer. Because I can promise you that while everybody else is eating and you're looking around, you're not really in the mood for food. You're so overwhelmed with so many things going on that
I'm sure
it's usually not till, at least for me, it was like 10:30 or 11 before I was like, I could really I could eat something right now. Like, and it was just because all the nerves and then just
man, I forget who it was, but I remember talking to one of the groomsmen at your wedding. When we were back there. So it was one of your family members. It might have been Ryan. Yeah. I don't remember for sure, but somebody was like telling me like, hey, I think Justin's like really nervous. And I'm like, there is nothing we can do about that. Yeah. I remember telling somebody that because I remember for the first little bit of the day, I'm trying to like subtly like calm you down. I'm not trying to directly tell you to calm down, but I'm trying to like comedic relief, and I'm noticing it's not working. And then I'm like, I'm thinking about this all wrong. This is the biggest day of his fucking life. And nothing I do is going to work. And that's when somebody brought it up to me. They were like, hey, I think he's like really nervous. Like, I think maybe we should try to. And I'm like, there is nothing we can do. Like, I said, let him be nervous until we get there. Like, there's nothing we can do.
That is absolutely right. Like, me and Faith look back at the photos. And, like, I relive, like, just us sitting in the groomsmen room, like, me and you helping everybody with their ties. Like, I'm getting emotional now again because like you said, it was.
That was a day that was burnt into my memory, dude. That's awesome. Like
I appreciate that. That's
like, you know how most of the time it feels like the good times, like if you have a really fucking good day or a good 2 days, it feels like they go by like this.
Yeah.
Like that was in its own category. It didn't. It felt like a different lifetime.
Dude,
like from the time that the groomsmen were there, because I remember the day before, me and Nate and everybody being there, and all the bridesmaids, and then like we were just all sitting there like bullshitting, having a good time, and then like there was something in the air that like we were all just like, this is going to be a damn good like time. This is going to be very fun, and then we got there, and that day was eternal. That day lasted forever in the best way possible. And I didn't think that was like a, because every other like good time in my life was like, it feels like the best times go by the quickest. Like we go to baseball games, they're over in a flash. You go to football games, it feels like they're over in 5 minutes. You go to the casino, the night feels like recess. But that wedding, it felt like we were there for fucking 4 days in the best way possible. It was like, dude, this thing is so fucking fun that it's giving me more time.
Yeah. I have to say, even as like the person, like I was saying, like it was literally just the time that really felt rushed for me. Everything was slow. first of all, our day before was fantastic. Our evening before, just me, you, Wyatt, Ty, and Kevin getting to hang out with, some of our girls were there and everything. We got to meet Trish that night and everything, but just that night in general is burned in as like, that's one of the best nights that I've had with my real.
Yeah, dude, your bachelor party night was very good as well. Dude. Like that was also very long because that was a long ass time. So we went to your rehearsal.
Yeah.
We went home. We hung out at your house for probably 3-4 hours. Did some things.
Yeah, smoked a lot of store product.
So we smoked and ate a fair amount of store product and different store product.
Yeah.
The natural store.
And I gotta say, we gotta smoke some Continental store product as well because it was cross continent.
And then on top of all that, we went to the bar. I don't know if you remember that. We went to the bar for a while. There were so many people buying you drinks. Because, dude, I was trying to set you up, too, because I know anytime that I talk to anybody, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm here for Justin's getting married tomorrow. And they're like, what?
Dude, I remember at least 2 people that came up to me and I had full conversations with. I've turned either to you or Nathan.
You didn't remember who they were?
And I was like, I don't know who that man was. But
I remember you talked to a guy for like 30 fucking minutes, and as soon as he left, you were like, I have no fucking idea who that guy was.
Oh my gosh, bro. That night is how it just solidified, like, I'm marrying the right girl. I've done right in my life. I am on a good path right now. Like, that night was like, it was just a really, really good entrance to the wedding day, man. And then just like you're saying, man, that's so funny. I forgot about that.
God, no, that shit was a blast. And I remember going into it, because I never have any memories of weddings other than being young. Going to family weddings and stuff. Like, I remember going to family weddings, and I'm like, this is such a goddamn chore. I hadn't been to one at that point in, 15 plus years. So I'm thinking, fuck, a wedding, like it is my best friend's wedding, so it's special, but it's like, it's still a wedding. And then it was the second that I got there for rehearsal day. And I was like, something's different about this. Like, I got there, and then, like, I got out, I saw Nate, and I saw everybody, like, not everybody was there first day. But I saw the people that were there, and then you just kind of interacted, and there was just something I was like, this is going to be fun. And goddamn was it fun. It was a wedding. It was a party. It was like everything wrapped into one bundle. It was the fucking most fun shit ever. That's honestly a day that if I could pick 5 days to relive, that day is on that list. Like 100%.
Dude, that is the biggest compliment anybody could give me in faith, because that's literally what we wanted. Because unfortunately, just because of the size of our venue, we weren't able to invite all of our friends or all of our extended family. But the people that we were so core to who we were and to and so influential in getting us to the point that we each were at, that we wanted to make sure that as much as a celebration of love as it was for us, it was a celebration of, man, we realized that it's been 4 or 5 years since all of us have gotten together, and we've all gotten to get together and make sure that we capitalized on that moment.
It was such a huge, everybody that I care about reunion.
Yeah.
That is exactly what it was. It was even my mom was there, because my mom was the hairdresser for the thing. Dude.
She did Faith and everybody's hair. She cut Faith's hair right after the reception to surprise me. It was,
She told me she was going to do that, too, and I had to keep that under wraps. That's what fucking sucks. All right, fellas, I'll tell you right now. If you got a friend that's in a long-term relationship, and you're about to, and they're about to get engaged or whatever, and you have any feeling that you're about to be the best man in this wedding, you'd better be prepared to keep secrets from every fucking side. You better be prepared to keep secrets from everybody that throws secrets at you, because you will get them thrown at you left and right. I got told by Faith and my mom that day, and I'm like, why did you guys tell me? I'm like, shut up. Like, fucking don't tell me this shit. I could have just not known.
Oh, dude, that was so funny. And what's hilarious is I was gonna have, because nobody knows, my hair was about 8 inches longer than this, 6 inches longer than this. I was gonna have your mom cut my hair on my wedding day. And it would have been so ironic because she would have had to like jump from room to room to surprise me and Faith each during the reception.
I'd have been like, oh, look, a hairdresser's here. I would have fucked with her. I'd be like, yeah, Mom, trim me up real quick before I go out there.
Dude, if your mom wasn't such wasn't such a core part of me growing up and wasn't a second mom to me for an extended period of my life, it would have been weird that she'd been there for an hour and a half after, the makeup people and everybody else left. So then I might have caught on, but also I was so like in the moment with everything that was going on. I don't know. Since my wedding, it's done nothing but like get me and have me excited for everybody else's wedding. And
yeah.
It's for those exact reasons of us being able to reminisce now. It's a reunion in a million ways and can be an enjoyment in 10 others. If it just goes a certain way, I guess, or if it just has the right atmosphere and feeling. And Nate's was another freaking great. Nate and Maya's, I had such a good time, and it was such a different one because theirs was, in my eyes, after the ceremony, is the definition of a non-traditional wedding.
It was fun. I didn't get to stick around for a whole lot of that, unfortunately, but I remember seeing a little bit of it.
Well, I'll even start from what you were all at. From the catering, non-traditional Korean food for the most part, very good. And to what happened during the reception, which was a torrential.
Oh my God!
The tents blew the food. Every single person there was completely soaked. All of our photos, me and Faith still share our photos when those come up. All of our photos are us completely soaked. My hair just didn't look like just wet knots all the way down. It's just such a great time, man. And then on to their after festivities of just strongman competitions. That actually kind of relate to St. Patrick's Day here of Scottish traditions in the Highland Scottish Games. So just all around, man. It's just got me so excited. I'm excited for Kevin. I'm excited to again have me, you, Nate, Kevin, just our core group back together. And as adults, as we've talked about many times, and as we realized today when you got your work schedule, you're not able to be there on a lot of the big occasions, but whenever you are, you make the most of it. And it's August. August is going to be it's going to be another big.
Yeah. This is also like a today was kind of another wake up call for me, like another kick in the ass almost. It's like, dude, like you gotta get your like actual career going. Like what I went to school for the second time, not the first time. I'm not interested in that. What you went to school for the second time, because I'm like, man, if I just had this nice software gig and I'm just cool in it, like I'd have some PTO. I wouldn't even have to use PTO. It'd be a weekend, but I'd probably still have to use PTO because it'd be like halfway across the country. But it's just but yeah, it's the adult shit. It is nuts. It's nuts because, like, I remember as a kid not giving enough credit to certain adults. Like, oh, this person's not here for that and this person's not here for this. And I'm like, well, it's hard. Like, sometimes you can't always be, which is unfortunate. It sucks. Like, I haven't seen my dad since January or Christmas probably. But, like, I've been down there, but it's like, man, I just got other shit to do. Like, no offense to Dad. I love my dad. It's just he doesn't live there. You know what I mean? Yeah, he doesn't live there. And even if he doesn't live too far off, but at the same time, it's like he's not willing to leave his house and meet me. Now, if he's already left his house, he'll message me. He's like, hey, are you in Glenville? And I'm like, what? No, I'm not in Glenville. Why the fuck? You know what I mean? I remember one time he texted me. He's like, hey, are you in Glenville? Or are you in Glenville? I'm at the pub. And I said, you're at the what? So you haven't drank in 25 years. The fuck you mean you're at the pub? He's like, oh, I'm down here shooting pool. You want to come down? I'm like, I'm not there. I was thinking, that's what I told Jocelyn earlier. I said, I feel so bad. I said, any other situation ever with this job, I would just call off and I would be like, listen, you can figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, this is more important. But I'm like, sometimes, without, I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. But there are some times that it's like, sometimes it's not just a day of work. And that's kind of where I'm at. Sometimes it's not just a day of work. Sometimes it's the next, 2 to 5 years of my day of work. Like, what am I going to be doing? What am I going to be getting paid? So it's, it does suck. It's very unfortunate. But I will say this. I'll say this on air. I want to make sure it's all right with you. But I am going to get your daughter something. I'll get your daughter 3 somethings, actually. Yeah, well, what I want to do is, because I'm sure you haven't done it because you're not the same guy that I am, but what I'm going to do is your daughter's going to pick her first starter Pokemon this weekend. I'm going to get her a little fucking Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur if I can find them. If not, I'll get a different generation set of 3, and she's going to pick her first starter. She's going to pick her first starter Pokemon this weekend. That way, I know if I can trust her.
Honestly, that tells a lot about a person. Catching them before they can talk is really how you get to their true.
That's what I told Jocelyn I wanted to do that. She was like, "Well, you could just get her something this weekend whenever we go, And I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do." I said, "I think I'm gonna have her pick her first starter Pokemon." She goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "I'm gonna get her 3 fucking little stuffed Pokemons, and she's gonna pick one of them. She'll get to keep all 3 of them, but she gets to pick one. We're gonna see where her brain's at." Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Well, she'll get to pick her first starter Pokemon this weekend. So.
She won't. I'll tell her. And she'll get to watch this, and she'll be like, "Oh, thanks, Uncle White."
Yeah, and her mom likes video games too, so I feel like eventually she might be introduced to some Pokemon. Hopefully, maybe she gets a little older, and I get a little bit of a better job. Well, I might give her a Switch and a Pokemon game for Christmas one of these days to be prepared. But
I've been working. I had said it a few podcasts ago. I asked my mom, because anytime I need something, I write it on a sticky note and put it in my wallet. I asked my mom to look for my Game Boy SD. So if so, I'll buy. I'm at toy stores every time I go to a mall, or on May, which I'll just say it, May 3rd. There's a toy show in Pittsburgh, Wyatt. If you want to go,
for real,
I'm pretty sure I'm going to be there with one of my surveying buddies, and we'd love to just have anybody, because he's going to have one of his friends join us.
Yeah, I'd like to go. What kind of toys? Like all kinds of toys?
Everything. Just like just search toy show, and everything that you can think of will be there. It's incredible. Just look up.
Did you say May 3rd?
May 3rd.
The Toyapalooza Toy Show, 5/3/25 at AHN Sports Complex. Okay, that's pretty good. It doesn't tell me any details about it. It just tells me where it is. But that is pretty cool. I will look into that after I'm gone. I would like to go. That'd be cool as fuck.
Yeah, man.
I just want to buy something.
Yeah, you should go. We'll just look around, whether we buy $10 or $100 worth of shit. The guys that we'll be with will buy probably $5,000 to $2,000 worth of stuff, so that'll be cool to see and watch them haggle. They're serious toy collectors.
By then I might have a couple. Hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, we'll have a couple extra bucks to bring home some unnecessary bullshit myself.
Dude, well, yeah, you should definitely go to that, because
if I can find anything like superheroes, wrestling, or anything, superheroes or wrestling related, I'll probably purchase it, and it'll be right up by my TV.
Dude, they have everything from new age stuff to the 1960 toys. You will find, because what happens is independent buyers like me, which I know you don't know and a lot of people don't know, but I have these boxes right here. So imagine double the height. I have 4 of those filled up with nothing but retro toys, and 3 of them filled up with nothing but Funko Pops. And a bunch like I have such an extended amount of toys. So there's independent sellers like me that just collect stuff, all the way to straight up, which you can imagine from regular shop, like actual shops come in with their full inventories of specific stuff. So and I mean, from everything that I saw, my surveying friend Chris Williamson, shout out Chris, he is the one that told me about it. Invited me, and I was like, man, Pittsburgh, that's a perfect time, perfect place. Let's see if we can all make new friends and just have a good time. So, heck yeah.
Yeah, and I'll drag my girlfriend to it because she's a goddamn trooper that ends up doing everything that I like to do.
Well, heck yeah, that works out. Maybe I'll see if Faith happens to be off, then I'll take her.
Dude, I will shout out Jocelyn for a minute. I don't enough. She's always 10 feet away when I'm recording. She was today until she had to leave for work. She works night shift this week. She's always 10 feet away when I'm recording. There has, like, if there's not been a thing that I have, like, put on TV that she has not at least acted interested in. Now, I can tell when she is interested and when she's acting interested. And, although I can tell, I do appreciate her acting interested even if she's not. It's pretty cool. It's like, because I do the same thing. Like she'll be there like talking about her work gossip or whatever, and I'm like, oh, that's fucking nuts. You know, like I'm playing along, and then she'll sit there while I'm talking about like my little video game shit, and I'm like, oh, you know, I've almost got all these achievements on Spider-Man, and she's like, oh, that's awesome, and I'm like, yeah, you don't really care, but I like that you're playing along.
Because me, I have a harder time because I'm a man, so I only focus on realism. In realism, I don't want to hear mundane conversations. So I have a hard time. Like here recently, I've been trying to be more interested in what she has to say, but there is nothing better whenever you just like, whenever you can just kind of relate, even if you're not really relating to somebody, you know? Like,
Yeah.
Faith does that. Well, shoot, last week, or I'll just talk about it now. My review for this week, I'll do Craven. I watched that movie. It came out.
Oh, did you?
Here recently, on Netflix now. Everybody should watch that. Craven, if you don't know, is a Marvel character. Came out, I don't know, I think it was mid-'80s, but what I do know about him primarily is that he's basically like a animal-enhanced superhuman.
He is the main villain of the Spider-Man 2 video game. If anybody plays video games,
okay.
And if you saw why I threw up the quotes, and you've played the game, you know why I threw up the quotes. He was advertised as the main villain in that game. He is a legit villain. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that movie was very good. The actor was very good. Overall, like, I know a lot about superheroes, but because like most people, I feel like there are specifics within each that you focus on, and mine are the main. He was never one that I focused on, so to really see his origin, whether it's comic accurate or not, I can't say. Much like the Venom, the third Venom. It was just a great movie overall. Some of the fight scenes and the killing scenes, just like I said in the Venom, were so unique. I've never seen them before. I had never seen some of them. Me and Faith both looked at each other while whenever certain ones happened, because we were like, wow, that like very. It was a very, very good movie. I highly recommend it to everybody. I don't think it did good. Unfortunately, I saw some pictures today. If anybody doesn't know, or if you ever did play Mortal Kombat, they made a movie a few years ago. Mortal Kombat 2 is coming out in October, and they released some set pictures, and it looks good. And I'm super excited. Yeah,
nice.
It's one that I don't think I'm going to be let down in, because I'm going to be honest. I had not high expectations coming into the remake. Or coming into like this new era 20 whatever it was, but
yeah, I think it was 2020, 2021, somewhere around there.
Yeah, but it actually
maybe 22.
and it was good. So
Yeah,
so I'm
it
excited
was.
about this.
Oh yeah, me too, man, me too.
But yeah, so that was my movie review, and that was just my movie section for this week. Um, yeah, do you have a review for this week before I kind of maybe transition to?
Yeah, man, I have some a review. I don't know why I said some. I'm getting lost. We're St. Patrick's Day'd out. It's it's going off the rails in the best way possible. I've got a review. Mine's not new. Mine's not. And it's again Netflix. See, right immediately after shitting on Netflix, and we're like, speaking of Netflix, did you see this fucking awesome movie on there? Mine's not a movie. Mine's a show. It's not new. But it's fucking hilarious because I started watching it the other day again. Paradise PD. Do you remember that show?
Bro, yes.
God, dude.
My gosh, that
so
has Daniel Tosh,
funny.
correct?
That's Brickleberry that has Daniel Tosh. So anybody that doesn't know, the one of the main characters, it's hard to pin down who the main character of that show is, but one of the main characters of Paradise PD, the police chief, is the voice of SpongeBob. So if you ever watch this Paradise PD show and you hear all the vile shit this man says, worse than anything you've ever heard on here, just keep in mind that's SpongeBob. But yeah, it is. It's made by the Brickleberry people. It has a lot of the Brickleberry voice actors, including the SpongeBob guy. He was also on Brickleberry. He was the warden.
Watch that. I'm
yeah.
honest. I'm.
I think Woody was his name. Woody was either his name in Paradise PD or Brickleberry, and I don't remember which. But Woody was one of his names.
Yeah.
I remember it because it's funny. But that show is insane. If you're a kid and you somehow stumbled across this show, don't watch it. Don't listen to me. If you're a child, that show sucks. Don't listen to it. It's bad. If you're an adult, watch that show, dude. Please. It's so fucking funny. And if you don't think it's funny, then you probably suck and shouldn't ever go to a party ever because you're not going to be fun. But that show is hilarious. It's on I think it's a Netflix exclusive, I believe. I don't think there's any I believe so. I don't think now I know Brickleberry when it came out was originally on Comedy Central. And I don't think Brickleberry is on Netflix at all. I'm pretty sure Paradise PD was a Netflix exclusive. Yep. Yeah, it was. And it ran for 4 seasons, which I only knew of 2 seasons. So I checked out of the show a long time ago until I started watching it again, just like last week.
That's super surprising.
And I've not been disappointed. So I'll give that show 4 leaf clovers or whatever. 4 of them out of 4.
3 leaf shamrocks. That's
no, I don't even want to give it the 3 because Jesus and God and all of his folks are not going to approve of this show.
You know what? That's very true. Very true. Neither Brickleberry, yeah, no, you're right.
Or Paradise PD.
Or
no,
Paradise PD. Neither one will be.
Yeah, Jesus is not going to be thrilled about that one, unless he's a really cool guy.
Yeah, and he knows comedy. But I'll tell you what, these guys are also very insensitive.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I saw Jesus on an episode of Paradise PD yesterday. As a matter of fact, I saw Jesus. I should have just left it there. I saw Jesus on an episode of Paradise PD yesterday, and I think the exact words he was told by a Catholic priest were, "You're going to get back up there, nail yourself back on that cross, and get the fuck out." I might have been butchering that a little bit. But yeah, in Paradise PD, the Catholics didn't even like Jesus. That show's nuts. And I'm rewatching it. So when I first watched it originally, I only watched seasons 1 and 2. I did not know there were 3 or 4. I don't even think I finished season 2 when I originally watched it. Because I
watched part of it. I don't think I have.
Because I'm watching it back right now, and I'm like, I don't remember this. Like, whenever I saw this scene with Jesus, I'm like, I don't remember this at all. And they kicked his ass and kicked him out of the Catholic Church.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then
I just watched enough to be like, okay, I know exactly what this is. And
Yeah.
then I either stopped having that streaming service for a period of time, which probably happened.
oh, Netflix, yeah, we all did.
Yeah.
I think there was a period of time. I think in college we all had Netflix until we didn't, and then all of us gave it up at once because it became the more expensive one, and now it's like compared to the other ones, it's like the same. So it's like
It's actually slightly more expensive. I could talk about that more, but I would probably get the math wrong because I'm more drunk than I was 4 episodes ago or 5 episodes about it.
More drunk than I was 4 episodes ago.
Yeah. Whatever 180 million times 1.5 is, so what's that, 2.7?
7.5, I think. Yeah.
2.75 million is how much more money a month that they make. So if you times that by 12, they're making 260 some mil or 2.6 billion dollars extra a month to produce whatever horseshit shows they're producing for us. So,
I think we have time to bash Netflix one more time. Not bash them, but question them one more time before we start our closing segment here. I don't know if you saw it. I don't know if I sent it to you. I don't know if it's true. But I saw a Netflix. It was like a super show. They were having. Let's see. I can't find it anywhere. But what I saw was, I believe Netflix wanted to do a UFC, boxing, and WWE like big ass fucking show with all 3 of them incorporated into it. And I wanted to know your take on that because as a guy that watches all 3, I can tell you right now you're not gonna hit all 3 of those.
somebody telling me that this is happening. So automatically, just because the way that my mind is, I'm going to go from business mind, I'm going to go logistically. So logistically, who are you going to draw to technically be a main event for each of the 3 to where you're going to get the same amount of viewership for all 3 of them? And you can't interchange and be like boxing, MMA, whatever the other one was, you know.
It was boxing. It was boxing, MMA, and it was boxing, MMA specifically, UFC and WWE.
Okay, you can't go from first of all, but a completely other segment. Every single one of those is 100% scripted. Is not real officiated.
Yeah.
The other one is only officiated to the point of this other person might die if he continues, and the third one is officiated to the point of, all right, he can't make it to the count of 10. Yeah. And that's after I give him a few extra you know what I mean? In my opinion, in a million different ways, logistically it couldn't work.
I wouldn't imagine so. I wouldn't imagine somebody would sit down and watch that whole thing. I don't even know if it's true. I just saw it on Instagram, I think.
Now, if they did do that and they were just like, you know what? Here's my thing. I complain about Netflix as I just did because I'm all about money and I'm all about the value that they get from each, obviously. So I want to know, how much money does Netflix make per minute at a live event?
That's a fantastic question.
So
I don't know.
So if you were to look at that, so in 2022, they posted 4.5. Well, actually, it's good to me. Yeah, so you can't. So that's another thing. Netflix, they're not new, but streaming services wise, if you look 2.5 years of their 9-year span, I'm just going off of 9 years because I remember, as we all do, the period of time where they were solely a DVD renting platform. So we'll go 9 years of streaming. At 2.5 years of COVID, that's the only reason why they've really made the money that they did. We're back to where people, like we've talked about on this podcast, like we did earlier, live events have so much more value than what those ones do that, you know what, no, I'm not going to make it a special occasion to stay in on a Saturday night to watch it, to try to especially for an event to where for all three of those sports, the fans that watch those sports for the most part, aside from us that are just average fans that just like sports in general, but the core value and the core number of those fans are actually fans to those sports specifically. They're not going to tune in for a 3.5 hour event to watch 20 minutes
of each.
Of each.
20 minutes of each with bajillions of advertisements crammed in between.
Exactly. So me personally, I need to look at, so I can't really take in their percentage over the last few years and try to divide it by their monthly with because what I would do is I would take their overall yearly revenue, and then I would look at the monthly revenue that they made that they had live events, and then I would split it up into weekly because I'm sure you could find that data. And within the weekly, I would then just try to find an average number or an average number that would just represent that whole. So let's go for the Super Bowl, for example, or not the Super Bowl. Let's go for Christmas, for example. Christmas Day, they had multiple things. We could look at the viewerships. We could then looking at their monthly views, look at the average money that they make per. You probably have to do not per capita, but per 1,000 views, 100,000 views, something like that, and then divide the so and you get it. But I'm not doing the math because I don't care to. But I don't believe that it would be even close. Like, they would do way better to be like, hey, this August, we are having Fight Month. First weekend of August, MMA, or a boxing weekend. Second week, MMA. Third weekend, this month,
You want to draw goddamn tourists, that's how you do it for a month.
That's how you do it.
For a month.
Oh my gosh, that's how you make the money.
I did look it up. It's not specifically a Netflix thing. It'll probably end up being a Netflix thing. It's not right now a Netflix thing. It's a Saudi Arabia thing.
Oh, it'll 100% be a Netflix thing. Well, actually, I don't know. Oh, I don't know.
It's iffy. It's iffy. I can see
they
it.
have so much money over there that they may be like, we'll take whatever it takes to put it on all.
Yeah.
Solely because Saudi Arabia is a country that is freaking on the rise. Obviously, everybody knows because if you've seen anybody social media wise, it's all about the cars and the money they make. But just social media, just in general, fighting wise, that country has. I mean, what they have probably 5 events a year UFC wise there.
They love them. They love UFC. They love wrestling. I don't know if they love boxing. I'm sure they fucking do.
Sure they do. Yeah. I don't see how they could.
They love all of this shit.
So actually, I could see that really working. Now that you say,
for them, yeah. For viewers' sake, I don't think it's gonna be great in terms of like worldwide, but for the money they're gonna bring in Saudi Arabia wise, I get it.
Also, look at the problem that with us Americans is that we look at Google numbers. Google numbers has people like Elon Musk up at the top. Sorry, but we aren't looking at the thousands of years of dynasties. Whereas with Chinese dynasties, they last a couple hundred years. These people have been in rule, or their families in succession have been in rule for so long that they literally have the oil and they have the wealth of the entire country plus more. So they don't care to lose a little money for their personal entertainment. I'm sure.
No, yeah, they're I remember. Reading about that when Elon Musk became the richest person in the world or whatever, and they're like, yeah, they don't take into account the Saudi royal families. I'm like, yeah, that's because those aren't like required to be public numbers because they're not the people's, like they're not those people's money, they're the country's money.
I knew that they had more money. I didn't know why it couldn't be counted.
It's not that it can't be; it's that it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be disclosed. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's in terms of getting people to watch online is a shit show. You're not going to get people to sit down for all that. You're not going to get me to sit down for all that. I like all of them. You're not going to get me to sit down for all that. Sorry, it's just too long on a Saturday. Fuck off. I'd rather do like something else.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like no offense to most of those, but I'm watching the UFC event, and then the rest of them can take a walk.
I'll see him on Instagram 5 seconds later.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And then anything that I watch wrestling now. Anything that WWE does in Saudi Arabia is like not canon. They like when they do Saudi Arabia shows, they're like, all right, this is just not part of the storyline. We're just doing this.
Yeah.
And it's like a movie. It's like a Dragon Ball movie. If anybody likes Dragon Ball, it's like, what? This doesn't have anything to do with the show. Like, yeah, you're right. It doesn't. Just watch it and have fun. And that's what it is.
Enjoy it, yeah.
Yeah. It's not always like that when they go to Saudi Arabia, but it is a lot of the times. Like, I think they're doing the Rumble in Saudi Arabia next year. Yeah, which is different. But I'm not a fan, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
What do I know? I'm not bringing in their money. Oh, shit. Anyway, I think it is now time to transition into our last segment of the day. You know, we've been out of school for 9, close to 10 years, and I know 10 years would be a really good recap of the last decade, but we didn't want to wait for undisclosed reasons, so we went ahead and looked up the timeline of the 21st century since 2016. If you want to know crazy things that have happened since Justin and I got out of high school. A lot of things.
To give some context, the reason we want to give this is because we want to let everybody know how irrelevant our time in high school is and the things.
Yeah.
As great as they were, and as memorable as they were, unless you're talking about them on a podcast to your best friend or while on the couch to a friend that either knows about it or was there to witness it, it may not be worth mentioning all the time.
No. Probably not any of the time. Not any of the time. I can't think of anybody that gives a shit about anything that happened in high school. That didn't like go there and live it. We had fun.
Yeah.
But just to make us feel old, all the things that have happened. Maybe not since we graduated. I'll go some 2016. I'll give you some 2016s. We can go up until all the way right now if you want to. I'll skip around. So let's see. Since 2016, this is I'll date a little bit before we graduate here. March 20th. Very close to right now. By the time this comes out, March 20th, 2025 will have already passed. Barack Obama becomes the first, I think this is worth mentioning, becomes the first U.S. president, still President Barack Obama, in 2016.
Yeah.
In case anybody wanted to know, whenever we were in high school. That's how long ago that was. 3 presidential terms. Almost.
That's really eventful.
But he became the first U.S. president to visit Cuba since Calvin Coolidge in 1928. Pretty cool.
Well, now that's nearly 100 years ago, and I'm going to be honest, I don't remember Trump or Biden visiting Cuba, so that's still actually pretty big.
So yeah, that is kind of crazy. That's a long time since a visit to Cuba. We will go. Hold on a second. Oh, here we go. After we graduated, hold on.
Got some things.
I'm going to sprinkle one in here that I don't see on the list. And I'm going to say it right now, and I don't know what the exact date is, but I know it's from June through July, sometime around that time in 2016. The Cleveland Cavaliers won their first NBA championship. To this point, the only NBA championship they have won until this June. Stay tuned.
Shout out, Kevin. Thank you for welcoming Wyatt and I into your house for a lot of those postseason games, and We hope you hold those same memories we do, buddy. Heck yeah. Go Cavs. Also, just before, I don't know if White's going on 2017, but I want to mention this. 2016.
No, I'm still in 2016 right now.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good.
Everybody will remember this. That hasn't been born 2020, 2010 and on. Harambe was killed in the Cincinnati Zoo. And that
is true.
kind of sparked a string of memes. Presidential candidacy, technically, he
A new
was.
era.
People voted for Harambe as the presidential candidate in 2020 or 2016, which is hilarious. Are they saying shit?
Yeah, we can just leave this one in. Can you
Yeah,
hear it?
I heard part of it.
There we go. Well, folks, that's New Kensington, Pennsylvania for you.
That's the things you got to look forward to on the Back Road Banner podcast. You never really know the interruptions or the guests you may have. We try to keep it fresh. We try to keep it new each episode. We never know.
We try. Oh man.
But
All
yeah,
right.
that's funny that Harambe was killed, and all that shit has still ensued. Periodically, I still see a meme about that. So that's funny.
Yeah. Again, 2016, Pokemon Go took off.
Yes. Oh my
Yep.
gosh, that's the biggest craze. That has to be the biggest craze of 2016.
Yeah, it has on this list. Augmented reality game Pokemon Go is released, breaking records in revenue and becoming the best-selling mobile game. What do they mean best-selling? It was free. Do they mean most downloaded, or I'm not even sure if there's microtransactions on that game. There might be. Anyway,
It doesn't say. It just says it's delivered. I think it's more that it's reached 100 million plus players.
oh yeah, and then again, just this is like last week. I probably won't even find this on this list. Pokemon Go got sold to a different company, by the way.
I know Pokemon Go's regoing.
It was born. It died. It didn't die completely. People still played it here and there. It never like went off of the App Store and then has been sold. Maybe a week or two ago.
Wow, you know what that tells me is that anything that happened in 2016 is even more relevant then.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's almost like it was a lifetime ago.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't mention it in a post on Facebook or something. But
Yeah, definitely probably shouldn't do that.
But that's definitely crazy.
U.S. troops withdrew from Afghanistan after 15 years.
That's actually super big. That is super big.
Yeah. Let's see. A third set of locks on the Panama Canal opens for commercial traffic. And then an outbreak of the Zika virus is linked to a cluster of cases of shit, I can't talk. Microcephaly? Yeah, that's right. And then of course Fidel Castro died. And then had a funeral. And that's 2016. If you want to go on. Oh yeah, shit, sorry. I did miss there was a new we elected a president. I mentioned Barack Obama earlier. There was another one elected in November, Donald Trump for the first time. That's from one presidential term to two.
In that time period, he has served a full term, been impeached, been
Twice.
shot out twice, been shot once, been reelected, and is currently serving his second term. Pretty incredible. I feel like they have some interesting things they might want to say about 2016 or 2017.
Oh, who are those people over there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they've got some not interesting things to say about anything ever. They're just yelling.
I believe that. That's what happens to crackheads. Don't do crack, children.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it's been nothing but peace here until this.
Yeah.
God damn, that guy's loud.
I always have to agree with him. She kind of may be effed up.
Wow, I thought I had my mic muted. Can you still hear me?
Yep. I like it. I think it gives character to a podcast and hopefully helps people
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
stay in.
Yeah, wouldn't it be nuts if our podcast took off because it solved a murder?
Oh, that would be freaking awesome. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that's fucking insane.
Salt Bay became a thing in 2017 for everybody.
I remember him. Yeah, the guy with the steaks, right?
Yeah, he just fucking sprinkled salt over it.
Yeah, he looked like fucking he looked like Wandissimo from Fairly Odd Parents.
Yes. Oh my gosh, bro, he looked. That is so funny. I'm gonna put a picture of them up right now if I can remember.
Put Wandissimo up as well. I only know that because I watched Fairly Odd Parents like last week. It's on Netflix.
That is freaking hilarious, bro. Logan Paul and Jake Paul Logan Paul was canceled for the Murder Forest video in China, and now look at it.
Yeah, surely that guy never amounted to anything.
No. That's how short of a time period it's been since that's happened. That's why it's relevant enough to talk about 2016 events. Yeah. Well, somebody has been stabbed at this moment, or the pizza was delivered. Because
dude, that's why you always let the pizza guy in. I think I've dropped this piece of information here and there every once in a while. Always let the pizza guy in the house. I've told this to Jocelyn. We've been watching horror movies, and I will always tell everybody all the time, let the fucking pizza guy in the house. That's how you avoid this. That's how you avoid what's going on over there.
Yeah, you don't
Just
want
let
to
the pizza
interrupt
guy
somebody's podcast, man.
You don't want to interrupt some guy that's been trying to record for the last fucking 3 hours. You surely don't want to do that.
No.
Yeah, you don't want to interrupt anybody's nice, peaceful fucking Tuesday evening. Nobody wants to do that. You just want to fucking sit over there and scream like a belligerent. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Learn from the people that interrupt podcasts.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, learn from those fucking people. So we're still in 2017, or are you passing it back off to 2018?
You can go to whatever you want. I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to willy-nilly it.
Yeah, okay. So here's a big one. 2018, June 24th. Saudi Arabia allows women to drive.
What?
Yeah, whole different era.
What? It's almost like there's so much there.
Yeah. And the northern white the northern white rhinoceros becomes fully extinct. That does suck. That sucks ass. There you go. What happened in 2019 for me? I graduated college. The Israeli Prime Minister is indicted on charges of bribery, fraud, and breach of trust.
Good for them. Good for him.
Back to the list now that I'm fucking breathing steady.
Yeah.
Let's see. My list is giant, by the way. That's why it's taking me a minute. My list is fucking huge.
That's fine. I just remember, or I just haven't remembered certain stuff, and that's why in the last two I haven't said years, because I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what years they happened, but they happened since 2020 for sure. So I know they're relevant to this conversation. I lost my list that I was trying to find. I can't find it. That I was talking.
Yeah, I'll just start listing things that I know that happened.
Yeah.
An entire pandemic.
You know what? That is probably worth mentioning the most. Not only an entire pandemic. What did it last? Would you say 2.5 years? Probably.
Give or take. Yeah, I would say. Shit. I guess it was a little bit different for you. I mean, for like down there, what did it last? Fucking 3 weeks.
It really didn't change anything for us down here, other than the expense wise, honestly, actually, I have to say that the expense wise was the most 2020 to 2022. I don't know the exact, but I bet that was the biggest inflation rate that we've seen in our
Yeah.
lifetime. At least relatively to enough to where we'd be able to acknowledge it. So like obviously the 2007 to 2008 housing crisis probably influenced it a little bit, but fuck, we were 10 years old. We don't know what's going on at that time. It doesn't affect us. So yeah, that one's definitely very big. And still technically, especially with this administration, is going to have ongoing effects. You can read books uh, like the like Robert F. Kennedy wrote about our former health administrator, or whatever you want to say. He was the head of the what is our health shit called? I forget right now. I've had too many of these liquid courages.
Fuck. I don't know what it's called now. I forget now.
NHA, National Health. No,
That
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. But yeah, COVID. Fuck.
Man.
Yeah.
I think the moral of the story is that a lot of things have happened since we graduated. We've lived about 5 different lifetimes. I mean, you've made a whole family. A lot of people have.
I am.
A lot of people have made entire families.
I like that you said we have lived different lifetimes because I can absolutely say since the age of 18 when we graduated to 27, almost 28 right now, I absolutely have lived at least 3 separate lives. And I love that you said that. That is great.
I've lived 4 since I've been here, and one for every place that I've lived in. They've all been entirely different lives. Like my first apartment was me and Chase. It was it was okay for the most part until it wasn't, and then it wasn't. But even then, that's stuff you can look back on. I guess kind of shrug off, not shrug off, but me and him have talked and reconciled, and we're friends. And then there was the apartment I had by myself, totally different, entirely different lifestyle. Probably bottom of the barrel. If I had to pick bottom of the barrel of my life, it was when I lived alone the first time.
Yeah.
Then my most recent place that I just moved from, and then this one that was great until fucking about 3.5 hours ago when I started trying to record this show. Yeah, and then it all just turned into some dumb bullshit that had nothing to do with me. That was outside. I still don't even know what it has anything to do with, and I really don't give a flying fuck. Like I'm just here, but it's just. But yeah, I lived 4 in the past 6 years. Or shit, more than that. No, it's 6. 6 is good. Yeah, 2019, 20. Yeah, I moved out in 2019.
That's really interesting. Wow. That's
Yeah,
good.
but
I'm glad you said
it is absolutely wild to just think of how different fucking life gets in such a short amount of time. And it keeps getting that way. Like that's what I thought when I was younger. I was like, okay, life changes a lot as you're younger, and then as you get old, it kind of becomes the same. And it does, but it doesn't. Like your day to day, I guess your work life might become the same, might become a little bit monotonous. You might get a little bit old with it, but your home life is like it. At least mine is constantly changed. Like there has been different problems, different solutions, different this or that. Different homes. Shit. You've known me the whole time. I've lived in 4 different places since I've moved. Like I've had roommates twice. I've been on my own twice. It's just crazy how many different experiences you can live in such a short amount of time, while it still doesn't feel like a short amount of time. Because I have times, man, there are some days when I'm like, wow, like that feels like it was yesterday and it was 10 years ago. And then there's some days where it's like, wow, that feels like it was 10 years ago and it was 3 months ago. You know what I mean? Like
I know exactly what you mean. That's why I think it's another reason why I consider myself, especially now, especially getting to have these moments of reflection like this podcast. Uh, uh, the friend group that we were able to develop and keep pretty much core, at least to ourselves, at least to us individually, if not to both of us, has been so substantial in showing like the variety of livelihood that like the average person may live in, the variety of happiness and what it may take to achieve so, and what the interest may be. And I think it's like, for me personally, it's why I brag to everybody. I brag to everybody about my friend group, because we are all so different, and we're all, in my eyes, because like we're all successful in our own areas. Like, I can clearly highlight, like, man, this is this is just a positive influence to be around, and it's pretty crazy to self reflect and be like, it was this long ago that we were doing this, or that we were thinking this, or that we were just playing video games, or just playing this sport and doing absolutely nothing to it. Like, I don't know. It's just been a big self reflection moment for me. And every week that we talk about anything specifically, if something specific may come up or something random, it just brings it up, and it makes me appreciate even more, like, one, where I'm at, especially for the time period that it's been, but also then it makes me think about the time, how long it's been. Like, even since we've graduated high school, and we've been able to keep keep as true to ourselves as we could, as we have, while also, or not even true, but as like original to who we have been our whole lives, while just growing on top of that. Like, that's what I'm most proud of about us, is like, anybody we graduated with could like just run into us and probably have close to the same conversation they would have had with us in high school, but they could also have the most profound and like developmental and progression oriented conversation. And like,
I think it would depend. For me, it would depend a lot on who I talk to.
Really?
Yeah, because, like, to be honest, like, if I were to talk to a male, then we'd probably have a very similar conversation. If I were to talk to, like, a female, because I was a little bit of an asshole as a young man. Not only an asshole, but I was also a little bit of a teenager. So if I were to talk to a female that hasn't talked to me since high school, they would be like, "Wow, that guy's different." Like, I'm not like
that makes sense.
Don't mistake it. I'm not entirely dead inside, but yes, I am a little bit different.
Yeah. No, I know. That makes a lot of sense, and that's true, which obviously anybody would know. And the biggest thing is,
I think for any man that would be, like, for any fucking adult man that would probably be true. Like, if it's not, if you're an adult man and you're the same dude that you were when you were a teenager, you have failed. I'll go ahead and tell you that now. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that, unless you were a perfect teenager. But there's no such thing. Teenagers are assholes. So if you're a male and you're in you're our age, you're in your mid to late 20s, and you think, oh, I haven't changed since I was a kid, like since I was in high school, then you're fucking doing it wrong, dude. Like you should really look in the mirror for real.
Yeah. Why? No, I just love that. I love exactly what you said. That's absolutely right, man. Don't need to add on to that.
Yeah, man. I think that was a good solid recap. That was a good solid episode, despite the outside interruptions that are not even in here. But yeah, I think that was a good little session. I think I'll say a couple things to sign us off here. One, I think I might get off here right now. I guess this doesn't matter for anybody else but you, because you're the only person that hears this live. I think I might get out right now and do a little bit of a test stream on our YouTube to see how the old video game stream might work.
Nice.
If anybody stumbles across it and watches this Friday, and they're going to be like, oh, shit, I was there. Yeah, if anybody doesn't, you're probably not going to miss much. We're just figuring things out. Aside from that, hope the Cavs keep winning. They have a legitimate chance to lose less games than the Browns. They play 65 more games than the Browns, by the way, and they have a chance to lose fewer games than the Browns did this year. So, yep. Yeah, legitimate chance. Legitimate chance. I saw that the other day. Didn't believe it. Had to look it up. It is a I'll pull it up real quick because I've done this a million times. The Browns lost 14 games. They were 3-14. The Cavaliers, if I remember correctly, have lost 11. Yep, they are 56-11, meaning they have played 67 games, which means they have 15 left. At the rate that they are going this year, they will not lose 14 games unless they start resting people like fucking crazy, which they might because they have a firm grasp of the East by 7.5 games. So they might lose more games than the Browns. If they do, it's because of load management. The Browns suck balls. Welcome to Cleveland, Kenny Pickett, and I hope you have a good time. Yeah. So
your last second thoughts, and
yeah, and that was my Cleveland stuff. Steelers, you got to get a quarterback. My rants are exclusively sports. Steelers, you got to get a quarterback. If you don't get a quarterback, I don't know what you're doing. I don't care who you get. If I see Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett twice this year, I'll pull my fucking hair out. So there's that. Pirates. I don't know why you dropped the video of Paul Skeens starting opening day. No shit. Bears shit in the woods. The Pope's Catholic. I don't know what else you need to know. Paul Skeens is starting opening day because who the hell else is going to start opening day? You want to call me? I'll do it. I'm not going to do well, but I'll do it.
I'll take that. You'll take that contract for a day, won't you?
Yeah, for sure. And then, of course, close to home, I want to wish a big congratulations to the 2025 Single A Girls Basketball State Champions, Gilmer County High School. Only the 2025 ones.
They're the only ones relevant.
They are the only ones I'm congratulating. Only the 2025 ones. The damn near 30-year-olds like myself had your moment 10 years ago. But I do congratulate you young ladies on winning your championship. Big moment in your lives.
Alrighty. Well, I love that. You guys just heard Wyatt's last second thoughts. I'm not even gonna say mine.
Yeah, you don't have to. I don't have many. I'm not knocking anybody. I am, but I'm not. I'm not knocking anybody. I am congratulating the people that had their moment, and I want them to have their moment, and I don't want it to be robbed from them by damn near 30-year-olds. I am not robbing any of you children from your moments that you experience one time.
Oh gosh,
I'm not doing that. Sorry. It's at the end of the podcast. They're not going to make it this far, so I'll say
right. That's right. All right, everybody. All right. You just heard it from right there. That's going to wrap up this week's episode of the Back Road Banner podcast.
Yeah, number 12.
Everybody here. We believe we cover all essentials. The St. Patrick's Day celebrations.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Super late, by the way.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. We gave some life advice and just some general some points of views of some millennials and Generation Z's. Had to tell some hard truths there. We're sorry for that.
And don't ever be the people that were in my background.
Yeah, don't forget you need to celebrate. Don't be that annoying person.
No, hell no. Annoying is not the right word for it, but don't be that guy.
Don't do that. And remember, you're making better life choices than that guy right there, which means you're probably celebrating the day of festival of St. Paul very appropriately. And remember, to drink responsible and
or have responsible. Make sure you have responsible, and everybody say bye to Steve because he's not going to be here next week. He's going to die.